40 minutes to get here. Normally it's only an hour drive.
That was coming down from the foothills this morning, but it's pretty much the same story up and down the Front Range, with the major storm hitting as a lot of people try to get out of town for the Thanksgiving holiday. Some drivers have pushed those plans back, and a lot of people who would normally be on the highways today stayed home. That's much to the relief of CDOT.
You know, when there's not a lot of vehicles out on the roadways, we can get a lot of work done, and that's helping us out this morning as well, just because there's so many businesses and government offices and schools that are either reporting late or not open at all today.
That's CDOT's Bob Wilson. The metro area is under a winter storm warning until 2 o'clock this afternoon. Out at DIA, hundreds of flights have been canceled, straining about 1,000 people who had to stay over last night. And in sports, the Nuggets at home tonight to face the Wizards. The Avs are at home tomorrow to face the Oilers. That's the latest. I'm Chad Hoffman.
Now, Impact Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Credit Karma.
Well, the drive across the Denver area, very slow. We're dealing with snow-packed road conditions, and the interstates are getting a little bit better, but not by much. We're just starting to see a little bit of lane definition, and of course, we'll take what we can get. If you're going to be traveling, just plan extra time so you can go slow and get there safely. I-70, it's shut down. I-70 eastbound from Air Park over to the Kansas state line, and westbound I-70 is shut down after Floyd Hill, so you can't use I-70 to leave Denver and get into the high country. US 6 is not an alternate. Think about using 285 instead. The weather forecast, the snow should be tapering off around 2 p.m. We'll see a high today in the mid to upper 20s. Right now it's 22 degrees in Denver. With your Impact Traffic and weather, I'm Hank Carey, 630 KHOW.
Get your truly free credit scores and free credit monitoring from Credit Karma today. Download the Credit Karma app now. Credit Karma. Here's to progress.
Good afternoon, Insurance and Customer Service. How may I help you?
Hi, I'm calling about my medicine costs. They seem to keep going up.
How can I help?
Well, aren't you supposed to help by negotiating and holding down costs?
Oh, well, we do negotiate discounts, yes.
Okay, then why am I paying full price? Hello? Hello?
Medicine costs are growing at the slowest rate in years. But unfortunately, it doesn't always feel that way. 40% of a medicine's list price is given as a rebate or discount to the government and middlemen like insurers and pharmacy benefit managers. These rebates and discounts...
Action Appliance would pay for the food from yesterday. Remember that?
Yeah, they're coming on. That's really good.
Yeah.
Who's coming on? Action Appliances.
She said they're going to pay for the food.
What food? We got food?
Well,
they are going to pay?
Yeah, look at the first line.
Oh, I thought you meant pizza.
No. You're not going to get pizza delivered today.
You know, we had a job that we did where the installers, they swore they didn't do this, but, you know, I think they unplugged the freezer by accident. They plugged it in their power tools, and they didn't plug the freezer back in. And they claimed that they had like $1,000 worth of meat and stuff like that. And what are you going to do? Buy with them? You end up having to cover it? Of course, the installer covered it.
Hey, Tom Martino here. Welcome to the only show of its kind anywhere, and I mean the only show. You can listen to politics and ranting and raving and religious programming and all kinds of programming about sports, or you can talk about everyday life and just take a break from it, okay? And that's what this show does. The only show. And I want you to please today make it a point to tell at least one other person, and there's a reason for that. Not because I am so wonderful. Whether you like me or not, one thing you cannot dispute, this show warns you about scams, problems, ripoffs, and how to do things properly before anybody else. You hear it here, and then all of a sudden it's in the news. Or these scams take people, and you say, whoa, you should have listened to Martino. This show is all about that, everyday life. 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. Today, what I'd like to do is talk about a few things coming up, okay? We have, I want to talk about guide dogs, service dogs, emotional support dogs, because an incident came up, and I want to talk about it. It's really important to talk about it. So that's one of the things. What do you call them? Assistance dogs. I mean, they come in all shapes and sizes and flavors. Assistance dogs. I also want to talk about stem cell therapy, if I can squeeze it in, because I'm going to just say this, okay? My show's controversial because I won't kowtow or cater to sponsors if I don't believe that they're telling the truth. And I hold everyone accountable, and I do not like when other radio shows, under the guise of providing information, give out false information. And I think it's my obligation to correct it, and I don't care what show it is. So I want to talk about stem cells. I also want to talk about anything on your mind. We had a question yesterday about this appliance repair, our opinion. And the way the consumer described it, her freezer broke, Action Appliances fixed it, and did not really fix it, so she lost her food. So she has a normal question. When I have a repair done, Cheryl, they said it was your compressor, and it might well have been your compressor. So they changed the compressor, and then you come back the next day to find your food ruined. And they said it was a leak in your line. So now you're thinking, did the leak in the line cause the compressor to fail and you needed both? Or was it just the compressor and then you sprung a leak coincidentally? Or was it just a leak to begin with and you never needed the compressor? Now, my gut feeling, I'm sorry, Cheryl, what were you going to say?
No, I was just going to say that's correct. Absolutely.
Those three options. Okay.
Right.
My personal belief, they came to look at the freezer and they said, you know, if you go buy a new one, blah, 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 your food would get ruined. You guys discussed that and you figured I want an immediate repair and they offered the compressor. My gut feeling is that it probably was not the compressor. That's just my gut feeling. But I think the guy thought it was your compressor. I don't think that he intentionally sold you a compressor. It wasn't working. He changed the compressor. But here's what I find, why I find that I think they're responsible. Even if you had both problems, a bad compressor and a leak, okay, that could happen. Right. Even if you had both problems, the natural course of action when replacing a compressor is to see that it's compressing. It's to measure your pressures. And they would have discovered a leak. I don't know how you can install a compressor and not do a check, a leak down test. I don't know, not a leak down, but a leak test. How do you do that? I've talked to several technicians who say the very nature of installing a compressor would require a follow-up test on the system to make sure everything is good to go. So that's why I think if you did have two problems, I think they should have caught the second problem. I mean, it's a natural thing to catch. Unless the leak was so tiny and minute, it wouldn't have been picked up. But then I don't think it would have ruined your food right away. Again, I don't think anything was done intentionally to cheat someone. I don't think so. So the question is, are they responsible for not finding that leak? Okay, could they be? Now, of course, if coincidentally somehow you spring a leak after the compressor is installed, that sounds too coincidental to me. But again, let's see what they have to say. Action Appliance, they're very willing to come on, and we always give the business full airtime to respond, because they should. I mean, when somebody mentions a company, we want them to respond. So I first want to say, Cheryl, I want to ask this. Was there anything left out of this story, or is it, as you said, you think they're responsible for the food and so on? Is there anything you left out?
Yeah, I think, yes, I think they're responsible for the food. They did not check. I mean,
what did you leave out? We went over all that. What did
the only thing I would have, I probably would have added yesterday was, I sent them a letter in the meantime, they sent me a King Soopers gift card for $50 for being a loyal customer that I still have here.
All right. Well, that's good that you brought that out. Okay. I always want to know. I always want to know: is there anything missing from the story before I bring the business on? So now I will only ask that you give them the courtesy of letting them talk, whether you agree with what they say or not. Hi, Amy from Action Appliance. I really appreciate you coming on, Amy.
Hi, Mr. Martino. Good to be on.
You can call me Tom. So what's happening? You heard how I summed up the story. Can you add or take away from it?
Well, I would like to add, so a big concern that that our dear customer had mentioned was the fact that her turkey had thawed out in that time. And so, you know, in response to that, that's why we sent, you know, a gift card to make sure that she was taken care of for Thanksgiving, obviously, or whatever use of the turkey was. Now, as far as the compressor goes, our technicians do test them. It's not just, you know, they go in and they look at it and say, oh, you know, we've got something not cooling, so we want to throw the most expensive thing at it. So we do have meters, and our technician did test it.
Test the compressor, you mean? He tested the...
Right,
thank
the compressor. And so with the tubing, especially on the high side, it's not something you can patch. And so because that leak, you know, happened to be so small and happened to be there, you can't just patch it and, you know, salvage everything. And so that's probably the big part of that. So he had to evacuate the whole system.
Yes.
Because it allows air to get in. So he evacuated it and then patched it, or replaced it, excuse me, and then recharged the system.
Okay.
And, you know, we definitely have, you know, as you well know, we've been in business for over 28 years, and our technicians are actually NASTEC certified. And and that's something that lets you know that, you know, we have the professionalism, we have the meters.
No, we're not doubting that the compressor was installed. We're not doubting that they needed a compressor. I said possibly they needed a compressor and had a leak. Well, I guess the bottom line is this: installing a compressor, having the food have the food ruined because of a leak. I guess the direct question is this: why didn't your guy find the leak after he installed the compressor to make sure everything was working fine? And there might be a good reason. I just want to know your take on this.
Well, as you may know, with a refrigerator, it's not immediately that it'll start cooling or that it will cool all the way down to temperature. So it did start cooling, and it will start that process. However, even stated on the invoice that we gave her, allow 24 hours to cool. And so it won't get all the way down to temperature. So had she allowed that whole 24 hours to restock her refrigerator, because of course it had already been, you know, not cooling.
So you're saying if you did everything correctly, it would have still taken time to get cool enough to keep everything.
Exactly. And so the thing is, we definitely put that on our invoice, you know, to let the customer.
But I guess we're skirting the question. Was there a leak in the line, in the Freon or whatever you call it line?
Right. There was, yeah. And under our warranty, we did go out there.
Okay.
And so that was identified pretty early on. And so, you know, that's not something that would have, you know, falsely. It wouldn't have gotten down to temperature and then been able to keep, and then something you'd see later. You know, it didn't get down all the way at any point with that kind of leak, and so.
So are we saying?
May I correct a couple things
Are
here,
we saying not yet, Cheryl? Are we saying, Amy, that you guys acknowledge that you missed the leak? That I'm just trying to get an answer. Do you think that you guys missed the leak, or are you saying there was no leak? I haven't.
No, I definitely said there was a leak, yeah.
Okay, so you guys missed it the first time. So do you feel responsible for the food? I mean, we understand you came out under warranty and you fixed that leak. We appreciate that. But the question is, do you guys think, and there is no law that says you have to replace food. I'm just curious if you feel responsible for the food that was ruined.
Well, Tom, I'll tell you what I think. And that's why I'm kind of stating the fact
Sure.
of the 24 hours. And you'll have to tell me what you think because
Okay, go ahead.
You've seen a lot of this. But I'm saying that it's really hard to say who or why someone would restock an entire refrigerator if before those 24 hours, before the temperature has actually dropped.
Okay, because what you're saying, now I get it, Amy. So you're saying had she done what you instructed on the invoice and waited 24 hours, she would have noticed it hadn't cooled and wouldn't have ruined the food. I get it
there
now.
Would have been
I
no
get it.
Food in there.
I get it. There wouldn't have been food in there.
Right, and and that's why she said there was a turkey thawed, and my technician said he saw that turkey, and it was kind of something she had before, and so it's probably halfway. And we love our customers. That's how we've been in business for 28 years, Tom. But my big thing is, we instruct and we do everything we can so these kinds of things don't happen. A whole refrigerator didn't have to go bad.
Okay, I have a few questions for Cheryl. We get your position. I want to state it so you understand that we get it. You acknowledge there was a leak in the line. You acknowledge you replaced the compressor and should have found the leak. But you also acknowledge that if the customer had done as instructed and not restocked for 24 hours, she wouldn't have ruined the food. And then you guys would have still come back and fixed it once you found out it wasn't cooling again. So I get it. Cheryl wants to talk, but I have to take a break. And then we have a lot more to talk about on the Troubleshooter Show. Okay, I'm asking you now to be a pain in my ass. I'm sorry, but
Here they are.
A pain in my ass. I realize that sometimes I do not, I take for granted Ugly Ed's prompting.
So she bought new food to put in, or she took food out?
That's what we have to clarify.
Yeah, did she take...
What happened to the food that was in the refrigerator? Is that what went back?
The freezer.
The freezer.
Yeah.
Did she take it out? So what happened in those 24 hours? Was there food in there?
That's
she
what
took
I
out?
don't see.
Right.
First of all, what she indicated was
The food was
she couldn't buy a new freezer because the food would have gone bad.
Right.
So no matter what, that freezer wasn't working. Amy's right at Action Appliance. What am I doing? Okay, got it. DenverTrialLawyers.com. That name says it all. They are trial lawyers. Of course, they will settle if it's in your best interest. They also will go to trial, however, and they have many, many times for jury verdicts and judgments from a judge. Here's the bottom line. These guys know their way to the courtroom and have been there several times. $70 million in a birth injury, $22 million for medical malpractice, $5 million for sexual assault. And that was right recently from the Adams County School District. These awards are no small thing, and they only collect if they collect for you first. Whether it be a product that's faulty and hurts you, a doctor maybe, a hospital, a therapist, assisted living facilities, nursing homes, when you don't know where to turn for those catastrophic injuries, DenverTrialLawyers.com, 303-647-4435, free consultations, 647-4435.
But she had said it was a full freezer because the stuff that she had got
Okay.
from that place out
So
east.
what did she do in the interim?
Yeah, what did she do with the food?
It was partially thawed at the time. But like
Did she put them in like freezer boxes, like
I think
coolers
she left it in there, and that's why she, instead of buying a new one, she went and said, okay, let's do the compressor, otherwise.
You have Fix It here too, right? Okay. Call George. Do you know George's cell number? Just ask him what he would like today to highlight. George, Fix It 24/7. Do you have it?
What was the place out east where she got all that meat? You said you'd love that.
No,
There's a place out east where she.
Just let me know when I'm 10 seconds away from Fix It, please.
It wasn't Mark.
No. You said, I love that place. It was like a place you order.
I don't think so. Because I never order. I mean, I'm just, I'm by myself, so I don't order.
Okay.
Can you double check with Mark on TMS? Because their advertising, I thought they had canceled.
He hasn't texted back if he's online. I don't see him either one online.
I also want to know if he's going to try out the remote.
He's already done it before.
Well, I want to do it on the air here, like, you know, like for real. This is really important. Today I'm going to have a lot of spots that have to do with the weather and what you do about it. That's commercial spots. Fix It 24/7 wants you to know that they are swamped with people who did not call ahead of time, and that's natural, right? If you're patient, you'll get the best in plumbing, heating, cooling, electric, and drains. But here's the main message today. Free second opinions. Don't panic just because you're seeing snow. Don't panic. If someone tells you you need a furnace, 85% of the time you do not need a furnace. Sometimes it's just a valve, or it's a thermocouple, and you know what, or an igniter. And Fix It 24/7 will tell you the truth. Now here's the thing about second opinions. They have to work, or what good is it, right? So you know you'll never lose. In other words, if they say you don't need a furnace, you just need this, that thing they do has to fix the problem, right? Nothing to lose ever with second opinions. FixMyHome.com, 720-526-3939.
She'll bring it up. I'm sure she'll say it. And I'm pretty sure her freezer is full. And that's good for a freezer that goes down because it lasts a lot longer. It's good for a freezer to be full of food when it goes down because it lasts a lot longer as long as they keep it shut.
So maybe, was it maybe Tony's Meat Market? No, it wasn't Tony's. That's the only one I would have.
There's a place out east I thought that.
What did Mark say about TMS? No, that's fine. We don't have another Fix It, so I guess it doesn't matter at this point. I thought there would be several like normal, unless there are some you didn't put on. Thanks.
Hey Tom, can you ask Daphne to bring in some Advil she offered?
What?
I don't know how to get her.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, when you get a minute.
Hold on.
I'll go over there.
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter, 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. This hour brought to you by CBD. Products that work. This is Panacea Life Sciences. Again, in the media, I swear to you, you're going to hear a lot of inaccurate information. It's just the way of life, okay? And here's what I want to tell you. I will never, ever, ever steer you wrong. Not intentionally, that is. I do so much due diligence before accepting a product. And I am saying realcbdthatworks.com is the stuff for pain and for anxiety and for sleep. It's true pharmaceutical dosage from a pharmaceutical lab in Golden. realcbdthatworks.com. I don't take it lightly when I say things like this. Now, bottom line, Cheryl, I have some questions for you. And I know you want to respond to what she says, but it doesn't really matter because you both have a different story. But I need to know this. When your freezer went down to begin with, what did you do with the food? Did you keep it in the freezer?
The freezer, yes. I don't know where Amy got the idea that the freezer was ever unstocked. When the
no, she never got that impression. Here's what she said.
She said it was unstocked.
No. Actually, Cheryl, I'm going to tell you what she said because I was listening. She said they recommend you do not restock your freezer. She said refrigerator. She meant freezer or refrigerator. Okay, you do not restock immediately after a repair because they want to monitor it for 24 hours. Then she said, had you done that and monitored it for 24 hours, you would have discovered it wasn't cooling. You would not have ruined food. That is a fact. You wouldn't have ruined food. But what I'm saying to you, what Amy doesn't know is that you never took the food out of the freezer. So the question is, well, the question remains now, is that their fault or is that your fault? In other words, when you have a freezer that's broken, I feel like if you could have put the food somewhere else, you would have bought a new freezer, you know, and just waited for it. But I do know yesterday you said there was some kind of urgency. You needed to get it fixed. But here's the problem. You're not negligent for not removing the food. You had nowhere to put it. But are they responsible because you had nowhere to put it? That really is the crux of the matter, Cheryl. It's not whether they're responsible for it or not. It is, could you have avoided it if you did what was written on the receipt. I didn't realize they gave you something that said, do not stock your freezer for 24 hours.
All it says is allow 24 hours to cool. The technician.
Well, what does that mean to you? That means to me that it could take 24 hours.
Moving the food. The technician said nothing about moving the food out of there.
Now, the technician, I agree with you. The technician should have said, oh, by the way, I notice your whole freezer is filled with food, and we recommend you don't do that for 24 hours. You're absolutely right, Cheryl. There would be nothing wrong with a technician being proactive. Again, is it necessary? I don't know. I mean, I'm just feeling in my gut. I don't know. I'm telling you the truth. I don't know where I stand. Yeah. And Amy, why wouldn't your technician be proactive and simply say, hey, your freezer's full. Why don't you, we recommend you don't do that for 24 hours.
Tom, I really couldn't answer that for you. I think that they, by and large, do, tell their recommendations.
Yeah.
As in, this is what we've done. Obviously, though, it hadn't been cooling for at least the time it takes for a refrigerator or freezer to for somebody
so
to
Amy,
notice,
what you're
right?
saying is it was on its way thawing anyway. She should have been proactive. I get it. This is a typical problem where no one is completely right and no one is completely wrong. Amy, do you feel at least some obligation to pay for more than $50? I'm asking straight up. I'm not even saying you should. I'm asking, do you feel you could come up with more as an appeasement for someone because she says it was kind of ambiguous? What do you think?
So, it looks like we just disagree with the amount of our liability. So we obviously think it was worth the $50, and she wants $700 plus. So, I'd really like to see what you think, Tom. I just, in this situation, I just don't know what to say.
I'll tell you, when I say, I hate the expression, I'll tell you the truth. I'll tell you what we were discussing. We were discussing off the air that we don't know many people with $700 worth of freezer stuff, okay? Now there might be people out there listening saying, well, then you don't know a lot of people because that's easy. So I'm going to ask one of our food connoisseurs, Daphne, is $700 unusual in your freezer?
I would say,
I want your feeling, not mine.
If you had just bought a half a cow or something, then
but
no.
I'm talking about under normal circumstances, if you're stocking up on a good, well, okay. And
but
Ted,
Tom,
Ted's a businessman, by the way. Ted Rowland is here. He stopped in to say hi on this terrible day. Ted is here. He's with K&H Home Solutions. I've known him for many years. So as a business person, Ted, when you heard this problem, without me saying anything, what were your thoughts on liability or on appeasement or on anything or what?
It's a tough situation because, as Amy says, it's on her invoice. It's on, it's documented in her stuff. And
well, what do you think?
I would, if it was me.
Yeah. No, not if it was you. What do you think about this situation?
About this situation?
And then I'll ask if it was your company.
Okay. I think in this situation, probably $100, $150 would make sense.
So you're saying there's some liability because it was a little ambiguous. Right. Okay, by the strict letter of the law, if she truly says allow 24 hours and all that, and then I would say this, if my food was already on its way to being thawed, I don't know what I would do. I think I'd try to get a friend to take it or somebody or disperse it. But, Ted, another question. If it was your company, although that is a very unfair question because, as they say, hindsight is always 20/20. Right. But if it was your company, what would you do?
If I was my company, I'd stick with what I just said. I'd say
about $100. Okay, what do you think, Deputy Doc? What do you think?
How long had it been not functioning before she called them? The food could have been almost all thawed.
Well,
that's what
she realized.
How long had it been, broken. Cheryl? How long had it been?
Before they came to repair it.
Yeah. When did you notice it? When did you notice? Like, do you feel you noticed it right away? I don't think you could have noticed it right away. People usually notice it when something's soft. How did you notice it?
Yeah, I will say it was probably 2 days before they actually came.
How did you notice it? How did you notice it?
I'm not blaming them for that.
How did you notice it, Cheryl? How did you notice it?
The food was soft, but it was not thawed.
But here's what I want to tell you. Here's what I want to tell you, and then I'm going to move on to other calls, and I'm going to ask people to call 303-713-TALK because this is a good day to talk. You're probably home from work. But here's what I want to say. I think even if you did not have a leak in the line, and everything was done properly, the fact that it sat for maybe 2 days, maybe longer, you discovered it, they came and fixed it. I say even if everything was perfect, it would have taken time for that freezer to spool up, and you would have lost food anyway, even if they did everything perfectly. I don't think they are fully responsible for an entire freezer full of food defrosting. Having said that, I have some recommendations coming back.
This is Denver's talk station.
If it was down for 2 days, it could have been half thawed anyway.
Did you get Centeno Schultz? Did you tell him I really need to talk to him?
Yeah, you know, a lot of times, as long as the door's closed.
Right.
I need someone strong. This is a controversy.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying she doesn't know how. They don't know what the state of the food was when they finally
a
got
doctor?
there.
Yeah, they're not responsible
Well,
for the whole freezer.
I'm not going to take anyone but an MD. Okay, I just need an MD.
They're not responsible for the whole freezer.
I've been given $100-150 as goodwill.
But I don't know what that means, and yes, I can hear you.
Really appropriate.
Okay, why is it, and I can hear you fine because it mutes the other track sometimes. Why doesn't it always? Like now you're perfect because it mutes. I like the mute.
With me, it was it's not applicable because in a medical practice, you don't return.
Who am I doing?
What's controversy on stem cells?
Oh, this is the time that you will have problems when you get snow like this in winter, fire, flood, storm, mold, other things. That is why I told you today you pay attention to this show because it'll have a lot of good information. Please take this name and hold it, and I hope you never need it. American Restoration 24/7. Why do I say that? Because if you had flooding or a storm or fires or anything, you know what a lot of people have done? They call carpet cleaners who masquerade as restoration companies or fly-by-night contractors. The industry is riddled with liars and phonies. You need someone who specializes in this, an environmental scientist, someone who won't panic you and take care of problems properly. American Restoration 24/7. Keep the name for when you need it, and I hope you don't, but he's an expert, and he's the best when it comes to what he does environmentally, scientifically, construction-wise, and everywhere else. 8337-AM-REST.
What's controversy on stem cells?
It is bottom line. Who offers stem cells? Real stem cells, because there are too many people advertising it that don't offer stem cells. That's it. And it is impossible to have living stem cells without taking them at the time of treatment. It is scientifically impossible.
So you can't freeze them, is what you're saying.
Okay, you can freeze them. You can freeze them and bring them back, but then they don't survive. The only way to make stem cells survive shipping, the only way is to freeze them, but not normal freezing. You have to condense them. You have to manipulate them to make them a serum that will survive freezing. When you make a serum of condensed stem cells that survive shipping, you have made a drug. It's against the law. So the only way to have stem cells shipped to you is the doctor is either breaking the law.
How much
or
retirement
lying to
income will you actually have when you stop working? Number 2, how much will taxes on your IRAs and 401ks hurt your retirement income? This number could shock you. Number 3, how much will market crashes cost you, and how do you grow your wealth without losing it? And number 4, at what age do you actually run out of money?
She wants a bottle back. Oh, go ahead, take the 2.
Yeah, thank you.
You got any ice? You got to put some ice on that.
Put the ice on what is it, your knee?
His ankle.
Oh, you twisted your ankle.
Really badly. I mean, I stepped on.
I know it. You step in it.
Really got a high ankle sprain.
Yeah, no,
Why is this happening with Mark? I cannot. For some reason, when I have Mark on the text, I can't text. I can't text
I got
Mark.
your text.
I can text. I know I can text everyone. I can't text Mark. I can't text Mark. I don't understand it.
Maybe he's blocking you.
Yeah, my thoughts on the food is that the only reason she had the compressor basically cost to fix it, cost what a new freezer would have been.
Great. I mean, I don't know.
Those freezers are cheap, right? Freezers they're $700-800. You can go higher, but my thinking is the reason she went with that so she wouldn't lose her food. But she should have checked the next day and see if it was freezing, and she didn't check for like 3 days.
But the fact is that food had somewhat thawed already.
Right.
It was like she discovered it right away, and they got out there right away.
But it can partially freeze and still be good.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't totally.
What? You know,
can I just read something?
Just explain to Gail. We're going to fit her in, but I didn't want to. I absolutely did not want to. Rush her, but she does know she's not on for the whole show, right?
I was reading what Wikipedia. It says currently the only stem cell therapies approved by the FDA use cells from bone marrow or cord blood to treat cancers of the blood and bone marrow.
But no matter what stem cells, it's not whether stem cells work. It's you can't ship them and have effective treatment at the other end. You just cannot do it without breaking the law. It's that easy. It's just so easy.
When you say core, what do you mean, Doc?
It says cord blood.
Cord
blood. Not
that would be
not from amniotic fluid.
That
only
would be
from
what?
cord blood.
That's what they do. That's what they said. They said
they use well, there's a difference between taking it from.
You know what? Stem cells work no matter where you get them, even umbilical cord. My thing is not against umbilical cord cells or
amniotic fluid cells.
It's what I'm saying is you can't. If there was a pregnant woman right there, you could do it. You can't ship them. It has nothing to do with the quality of stem cell. Umbilical cord has wonderful stem cells, but not when you ship it. That's the thing people just don't know. They read about it.
They freeze it. That's what they said. They freeze it.
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. 303-713-TALK. 303-713-8255. I'd like you to call the show about anything if you have a question, and I'll venture to say when it comes to products and services and everyday life, you're not going to get more accurate information. Why? Because we don't care who we piss off, okay? I'm just going to say it like it is. 303-713-TALK. And we have some discussions coming up that might piss off people, but I don't care. What we do, though, however, is help people, and we have snow today. We have some people would call this a blizzard. It's not actually as bad as it looks once you get on the road, but I don't encourage you to get out there. However, what I would like you to do is if you have any reports or any questions or concerns regarding the weather, please give us a call, and we'll get right to you if you indicate it's urgent. 303-713-TALK. Okay, so bottom line, let me just summarize this problem. Cheryl called because her freezer stopped working. We don't know how long it was sat there, but her food was getting soft. She calls, Action Appliance comes out, changes out the compressor. Okay, now the compressor was changed out, and they left. The next day or two or whatever, she finds her food is spoiled. She says they owe me food because they should have found that leak in the compressor line instead of just blindly changing the compressor. And Amy says, you know what? We do check the system, and we don't deny there could have been a leak in the line after we changed the compressor that we missed. And sometimes we miss things. That's why we always advise on the receipt and, not to, or it says allow 24 hours to cool, meaning don't depend on it for 24 hours. Had Cheryl done that, she would have noticed it wasn't cooling. They would have come out and fixed it under warranty, and she wouldn't have ruined her food. Cheryl's saying, I had nowhere else to put my food, and I didn't know what to do. Okay. And she also said if it was that important, why did the guy leave without mentioning it? So, yeah, even though it's written on the receipt, allow allow 24 hours to cool, even though it's written on the receipt. The guy should have said, oh, by the way, ma'am, I wouldn't leave that food in there because it's not going to cool down for 24 hours. Because, you know, Cheryl seems to be fixated on the fact that they didn't do a complete job fixing it. Well, even if they had fixed it perfectly, her food still would have gone bad. It still would have gone bad. It was already on its way to defrosting, and then it would have been another 24 hours it could take. So I'm saying that I don't think it's all Action Appliance's fault. I think if I had to pick one fault with Action Appliance, it was this. I think the technician should have been more proactive. But then again, what good would it have done? I mean, what would she have done? Bryce is just somebody who called in with a comment. Go ahead, Bryce. What's your comment?
Hey, Tom, long-time listener, and, you know, considering that we've got 12 inches of snow this morning and it's 21 degrees, you know, I would have, you know, used my common sense and thought, well, why not get a couple coolers or boxes and at least
and put it outside.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is 2 weeks ago. But here's the deal. Okay, I want to ask you something since you took the time to call in. Bryce, do you think they owe her food?
I do not.
Okay. Now, this is a common guy calls in off the street. Ted says compromise. Ted's with me, Ted Rowland, owner of K&H Home Solutions. And Deputy Doc, you didn't answer one way or the other. Without asking any additional questions, do you have a stand?
I think about $100, $150.
Okay, I think this is what I think. I think about 300. I don't know. I just came up with that number, and I don't even know why, because it's half of what she stated. They already gave her 50, give her another 300. They're not obligated to do it. So I don't know what they want to do, okay? I'd like to ask Cheryl. I'm going to ask Amy, but I want to ask Cheryl with the freezer, the consumer, one quick question. Cheryl, had the guy said to you, listen, Cheryl, even under perfect conditions, it could take 24 hours to cool. I strongly recommend you move your food. What would you have done? I don't know if we can even get that accurate answer, but what would you have done had he been more proactive?
I would have tried to find a place to move the food.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. But you know what the issue is right now. There is no clear right and wrong in from what I'm hearing. So
I understand.
Yeah. You know, I mean, and I understand your point. Amy, what do you guys think at Action Appliance? Again, listen, I don't have to repeat myself. You know where I stand. What do you think, Amy?
Yeah, Tom, you know, we really do appreciate your feedback on this, and obviously hearing other people as well. You know, we obviously felt like 50 was sufficient.
Sure.
And that being said, you know, I wouldn't, you know, have any hard feelings, you know, sending her another $100 that way.
Okay.
Not that I don't respect your opinion of the 300.
Listen.
But you did perform a service.
There's no magic here. There's no magic. You did perform a service. Okay. So it would be a total of $150. Cheryl, I'm not asking if you accept it or not, because really, not much we can do other than you go to small claims court for the rest. But I don't think when all the facts are laid out, you see there's way more to it than the food was ruined, especially that allowed 24 hours. Now, here's the thing. Most consumer problems, the reason I played this out, and you might be thinking, especially if you're listening the first time, why did we play it out? Because this applies to everything. The substitute freezer with something else. Substitute food with something else. These things happen all the time. It's important for us as consumers not to depend on proactive merchants ever. Most merchants, in general, are very poor communicators. I don't know why. It should be the first thing they're taught. In fact, the most successful merchants, service providers, and professionals, okay? The most successful ones are the ones that communicate the best. In fact, the problem with that equation is many effective communicators are terrible at what they do as far as products and services. But because they're effective communicators, they get by. You'll get good reviews sometimes with a lousy service or product if you're a good communicator. Communication is the #1 talent you need in business. Communication. More coming up.
Now, impact
they
traffic.
give us courses in how to deal with that. and our insurance rates go down if we complete the course.
Doctors, that's the biggest complaint.
Yep.
It's the biggest complaint with attorneys.
Right. If you communicate with your patients that there's a problem, first of all, the rate of being sued goes down incredibly. So therefore, our insurance rates go down.
You know what else? You know what else brought the lawsuits down incredibly? I'm doing Colorado Neurohealth TMS.
I threw a patient in my office once. I was sitting there going over a consent form for major surgery for a hysterectomy, and she's on her phone. I said, you know what, you need to find another.
You know, you've heard this advertised on this station because there's more than one provider. Why? Because it works. My colleague Ed Green talks about another provider. I'm talking about TMSsolutions.com. Why? Because the technology works. It's FDA approved for depression that is med resistant. Here's what it means. If you are depressed and your antidepressants aren't working or they don't work for a long time, if you're stacking meds, if your doctor has you changing meds, this has been clinically proven to be more effective than changing to the next medication. It somehow makes the brain more receptive to your medicines. In some rare cases, people get off meds altogether. It is a magnetic pulse therapy. You sit in a chair, it's passive, it doesn't hurt, it's FDA approved, and of course, it's by prescription only. Call for details, 303-928-0499, 303-928-0499, or look it up online, TMSsolutions.com.
Hey Ken, where did you find out that stem cell said cord you can do? What's the?
Here, I went on to.
Because I thought it was marrow and fat cells within your.
What are you talking about?
Stem cells. I thought it was marrow and fat cells.
That's right. That's where they come from. Is that what you're talking?
But he said cord blood.
Yeah, it comes from cord and comes from amniotic fluid.
Yeah, right here. I just did FDA stem cell.
The reason they don't use cord blood so much is because there's no way to keep it. I mean.
And they're saying freezing.
Yeah, freezing keeps it. But Ted, for the millionth time, when you ship it frozen, they don't survive unless you condense them, and it's against the law to condense them. So therefore, you have the age-old problem of breaking the law and doing it right.
For a while, a lot of my patients were getting cord blood.
I had mine saved too.
Right, and saving for their kids.
And that's a wonderful thing to do, by the way.
Right.
It does. It's not that. Here's the problem, though. When it comes to using it, they have to break the law to use it. You're not allowed to use them properly.
Well, this is for kids who are just being born, so you don't know what, in the next 10, 12, 20 years.
I have both of my kids' cord blood still.
Right.
It's saved.
Exactly.
But if something happened where they needed it, they'd have to ship it from the cord blood registry to us.
And you'd break the law and you wouldn't care.
But that's true, but it would have to be offshore.
By the time they need it, that might change.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
That's a very good point.
That's the point, that people are doing it now, 10, 15, 18 years from now, when they're adults.
Just like when they have their heads frozen.
Right.
That works.
Yeah,
no, but that under the guise that future technology will help. Or is that, do you think, an urban legend?
What?
That people have their heads frozen.
Their heads frozen?
Honest to God. Disney, I heard, had his head frozen. Not their whole body. I thought, why not the body, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what I heard. It could be a legend. What do you think?
I never heard it before.
Supposedly Ted Williams had his body frozen.
Yeah.
If you've saved a lot in your IRAs, 401ks, and other
they shipped him out.
Taxes could be your biggest
he went back to Norway.
expense. Hi, I'm Linda Gardner, host of Your Money, Your Retirement, every Saturday on 6
I thought you were a kid when you said heads frozen.
No.
I never heard that.
It's an urban legend. I mean, no one.
You think so?
Keeping an eye on taxes. Don't let
Yeah.
taxes derail your
I mean,
retirement.
urban legend. Oh, so you don't think anybody really did? Sure. Sheridan Auto Tech has 2 locations. I love Kevin. He is such a funny, good guy. You know, he's like an uncle. That's why I call him Uncle Kevin for his customers. He has thousands of regular customers. You see, he prides himself on this family atmosphere and recommendations before you have major problems, and good maintenance, honesty, value, experience, knowledge, convenience. In Lakewood, on Colfax, just west of Wadsworth, and Aurora on Havana, just south of 6th Avenue. SheridanAutotech.com, 303-455-7242, 355, no, excuse me, 303-455-7242.
The other thing is most orthopods, at least the ones that I've talked to, don't buy into.
Ted, what do you want to talk about mostly?
I didn't really have a copy of mine, so end of year. We've got a special one.
Okay, sir. Gotcha.
Getting 630 KPOW from iHeartRadio.
Denver's talk station.
On your smart speaker.
Available on over 2,000 devices.
Tom Martino here, 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. We have a story that really bugs me. Gail lost her seeing eye dog. The story is a simple one, but it's a sad one. And it happens more often than we want to know. We're not going to get to the whole story right now. We're going to go to some of it and then get to the rest of it after the news. Gail Hamilton was totally blind and is totally blind, and by the way, has 2 master's degrees. She didn't let it hold her down. She also has many other accolades. She even assisted in building her own home, a Habitat for Humanity home. She was crowned Miss Colorado Senior America in 2013. And here's the deal. She had a seeing eye dog named Sarge she loved dearly. And she lost the dog. The dog did not die. She lost the dog. She thinks not enough people know how to properly interact with people who are blind. Gail, I have some very simple questions before we get to the meat of the story. I have some very simple questions. Is blind appropriate? I never know what to say nowadays. Is blind an appropriate term?
Good morning, Tom. When I refer to myself, I call myself blind. If I don't know, then I say people who are visually impaired, because being totally blind is kind of a rarity nowadays. So you never know what kind of vision somebody might have. So people who are visually impaired and or blind is probably the political correct, but it's a mouthful. So you can just call me blind. I'm good with that.
Now, are you so-called totally blind?
Yeah.
Does that mean you don't see light?
Yeah, I don't see anything.
Okay, so then another thing to get right. Is it a guide dog or a seeing eye dog?
Good question. Sarge was a CNI. CNI is kind of like a, what do you call it, a generic name like Kleenex, but there is a brand called Kleenex. So CNI is a real place in Morristown, New Jersey, and their dogs are CNI registered CNI dogs.
Okay.
And yet...
Is that where it came from, them, seeing eye dogs? They actually registered that name? Okay.
Right. And then most people, you just call them guide dogs. But my dog is really from the CNI in Morristown, New Jersey. And he is a CNI dog.
Gail, do these dogs do more than assist you in movement about? I mean, what do they do?
Well, from the CNI, they mainly do dogs that guide blind people.
Like what does he do? He guides you, but does he fetch things for you or other things? I'm not sure exactly what they do.
They're not trained to fetch, even though you could probably add that. We used to, but we don't do that anymore. They're taught to stop at curves. They're educated. They're not just trained, because a trained, if you said forward and there really was a car coming, then they'd do that no matter what. So they're kind of called intelligent disobedience.
Okay.
So if I say forward and there really is a car coming, they're taught to go, I don't think so.
Okay.
They tell
So
the difference between red and green lights?
No, they do not do that. They're colorblind.
Okay.
It's up to me to know when to cross the street, and it's up to them to say, yeah, you're right.
Before we get into the meat of the story itself, what are some common misconceptions or frustrations when you're blind that people have, common misconceptions or the way they treat you? Or are there, or is it pretty much, do you find people, hey, Gail, hi, I'm Tom.
Yep.
I mean, do you
Yep, we're blind, we're deaf, yep. Or, we can't think for ourselves. Well, what are some other ones? So what does she want? They don't think we know what we want.
You mean they talk in the third person when you're right there?
Yeah.
Like, what can I do for her? And you say, hello,
Right.
I'm here.
Absolutely.
All right, Gail, I want you to hold on and we'll get to your story. Also, Michelle on a gas furnace, Marcia on a deposit. We'll go to you and then back to Gail and in and out with Gail. She'll be with us a while. I'm Tom Martino with the only show of its kind. Centeno Schultz is the stem cell. Not many people can say that, damn it, about their show. If you are looking for a stem cell clinic, go to Dr. Chris Centeno and his team. He's the first one to do stem cell treatment in a clinical setting in the entire country. You can find out more at their website, avoidsurgerytoday.com. Don't accept any chiropractic clinics or medical clinics where amniotic fluid or umbilical cord is used. It is not living stem cells. You will not get living stem cells unless they are extracted at the time of the treatment. I can't emphasize that enough. People are wasting money all over the metro area on lying, cheating ripoffs. If you're looking for true living
Hey, this is Dr. Manfred. Listen, I'm not going to be able to make my appointment with Peter tomorrow morning. I'll give you a call after the holidays. I'm going out of town for holidays. I need to get an early flight, so I'll call you after the holidays and reschedule. Okay, thank you.
Oh, I mean, Entercom in general, they have, I want to say like 4 or 5. I wasn't really on the radio side of things.
Oh, okay.
On the digital side of things, but I mean, Entercom's all over the damn country. But so I applied online and that's how it happened. Been here for about a month now.
Did you have any experience in this space as far as I know? To me, marketing has nothing to do with what you're marketing, so it doesn't matter. But I'm just curious if you've ever dealt with home improvement stuff.
With home improvement, no. Actually, I just bought a house this week. So,
newborn stem cells.
I'm starting to get into it. I'm looking for a contractor to tear down the walls in the kitchen.
Yeah, okay, well, obviously the referrals, I got some people. Here's the problem with good people. They all have waiting lists because they're so good. It's really bad when you're good. For that reason, my people are slammed.
It's a good problem to have, And that's fine, but I mean, we don't even get the keys to the place till December 19th, and then we're talking about moving in late January.
Oh, good,
we
good.
Want to put some work into it, obviously.
Let me give us some thought.
Yeah, cool. Thank you.
What else do you have to have done? It's always
that's
good to
it.
consolidate. Okay, you want a wall knockdown and what done?
So a kitchen wall knockdown. We're going to reconfigure the kitchen. So there will probably be electrical and things like that. Of course,
She really got a window company.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm taking.
Are you doing your windows? Are you doing your windows?
Actually, our windows are good, but I think we're gonna need new siding. So that's something.
Provide funding for synthetic frogs that are now in use for dissections at a high school in Newport Richey, Florida. The reusable frogs.
So what kind of medicine do you practice?
I'm a retired OBGYN.
Okay. The big frogs look and feel like the real thing, and students say.
So I retired about 4 years ago. After about 40 years of too much work and no time off.
LBGYN's definitely, if you get called, you gotta go.
And I was in practice by myself, so I did all my own deliveries basically. So I was on call all the time. It was really time consuming. So when I retired, I was done.
You probably know Reed Goodman.
Oh yeah.
I grew up with Reed.
Oh, did you?
We're not really good friends or anything, but
Right. So are you a Denver native?
Kind of. I moved here when I was 3.
Oh, okay. So where'd you go to high school? TJ or what?
Washington.
Okay.
You know Del Bernstein?
Oh, yeah.
Whatever happened to him? He was my late wife's OBGYN, and you know, he was her favorite doctor, and
he retired a long time ago. He and a couple of other guys took advantage of the disability policies we had. Back in the day, you could get a disability policy that could pay you $25,000 a month tax-free if you couldn't perform your duties. And he ostensibly had a tennis injury to his thumb, and he claimed he couldn't be an OBGYN anymore, and they let him get away with it. So he retired, and that was, so he collected until he was 65.
Is he still around?
I don't know. I just knew him tangentially.
Okay.
But a lot of the guys I play poker with went to TJ or GW. How old are you?
69.
Yeah, so they're all, the guys I play poker with, they're all your age, all Denver. Are you Jewish?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all, Steve Leventhal or John Lozo.
Yeah.
Yeah, all those guys I play poker with are part of the, we call them the Jewish Mafia because they all grew up together. Who else? You know the Pluses, right?
No, just by name.
Oh yeah, they were part of your crew.
Right. I know Steve Leventhal's wife. I grew up with her.
Oh, with Renee.
Yeah. She's a sweetheart.
Yeah.
And my wife was good friends with John's wife.
With Lozo, with Ellen. Yeah, it's all like we call them the Jewish Mafia because we all, I moved out here in '83, so I met these guys, but they all knew each other from from high school on. They all grew up together. Now, I grew up in New York, as you can probably tell. I came here in '83, which is almost 40 years ago. I still can't lose my accent.
One of my best friends is from New York, from Great Neck.
Who's that?
Mike Leeds.
Who?
Michael Leeds.
No, obviously.
Him and I went to college together, is where I met him. And you're familiar with the Leeds Business School.
With what?
The Leeds Business
School.
School.
Oh, yeah. That's him.
That's his family.
So what do you think about that?
Well, it sounds like it's interesting because according to this, I can't tell whether it's yeah. It sounds like this V-Accord is able to tell him what he thinks.
It says today cord blood stem cells are disease, so it is. They're calling it stem cells.
Check them out for yourself and then give them a call. There's no obligation.
Well, what this says is that it's used for cancer and blood disorders. So that's what I think Tom was talking about. That you can't use it for non.
No, it says 80. Where does it say here?
Yeah, I mean, how get out of the
I'm not very cool.
Today cord blood stem used in treatment of nearly 80 diseases.
Yeah, but what does it say after that? Where's that? Just show me that again.
Right here.
Oh, right.
First.
A wide variety of cancers, genetic diseases, and blood disorders. So those are the 80 diseases are all within those 3 categories. Well, that's how I rate. That's
which one? It says including, but it's
TBM. Is it a TBM? I'm Tom Martino. This is truly the only show of its kind. It really is. So you call with a problem, question, or complaint. We talk about almost everything. In fact, there's very few things we won't handle. We try to make life a little easier for everyone. I'm Tom Martino. Been doing this for 40 years here in Denver. Longer elsewhere. The longest running radio show still on the air currently on the air with the same host. And we are going to get right to the phones. Ultimately, we have an interwoven theme here on assistance dogs and some of the problems specifically with a seeing eye dog you can have if you're blind. We have Gail, and we'll talk to her, but I want to get some people who called in because today is an unusual type of day, and people have problems. So I want to get right to these, like Michelle with a furnace. It's pretty serious. Okay, Michelle, what's happening?
Good morning, Tom.
Hey.
I'm calling from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Well, welcome.
Thank you. I have family out in Denver, and they clued me into saying, hey, give you a shout out and see if this can be resolved.
Yes, and you can also listen online, Facebook and YouTube or referralist.com. So what's your problem?
The problem is we have a different of opinion. We had our service technician come out, and he said the heat exchanger on the gas furnace is bad, and he recommended replacing the furnace entirely.
For what part was it? The exchanger, yeah, of course. Most of the time, if the heat exchanger is going bad, it's not worth replacing. In fact, that signals that the furnace is old. But here's another thing. Most of the time, the heat exchanger is not bad and is one of the most common scams around. So let's take it one step at a time. First, is the heat exchanger really bad, and what does the technician say to back it up?
He submitted photographs. He actually showed us visual where it is bad. And
did he actually do a gas or smoke test?
You mean like a pressure test?
No,
sort of?
but no, there's no pressure inside them. What happens? Well, here's what happens. When you have a bad heat exchanger, that exchanger has going through it poisonous gases that are hot. Then this thing is a radiator, basically, and a fan or a blower blows air over the radiator. That's what a furnace is. Inside the radiator, if you can visualize these tubes, there is poisonous gas. So if there is a crack in the heat exchanger, the fan that's blowing the cool air over it to get warm and then into the house, it'll pick up some of that poisonous gas and distribute it throughout the house. So that's why when people say a bad heat exchangers have no moving parts and they don't go bad, they just crack and then they poison people. But most of the time, a crack happens when it's very hot and it's not always visible. But the gas test is truly one of the only ways to really verify it. These visual pictures sometimes show extraordinary cracks, but very seldom will be proof of anything. I'm not saying you're being cheated. That's just, Michelle, one of the first things I always ask are, do you truly have what they say you have? So I want to ask another question. How'd you find the company that you used?
Okay, the company that we use, we've been using it for a long time.
Okay.
We're under a service contract, and they have been very honest and
good.
Dealt with us.
Okay.
Well.
How old is your furnace?
It's over 20 years of age.
Okay,
so
then Michelle, then guess what? Whether your heat exchanger is bad or not, I would change it out. 20 years, I would change it out. You'll save money just because of the new technology. So let's not even worry about the heat exchanger. I think you need a new furnace. So now what? What questions do you have?
I agree with you. Well, here's the question. I called the manufacturer of this product, and they're Cincinnati-based. I spoke to the territorial manager, and he says there's a lifetime warranty on that heat exchanger.
Well, what furnace do you have?
Oh, I can mention the manufacturer?
Of course. You can mention anything you want. What's the name of the furnace?
Train.
Oh, yeah.
Train XL90.
Oh, Train is Train is an excellent product.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
And did he say he's going to replace it?
This is what he said. He said it has a lifetime warranty, and he recommended that I call one of his dealers who work on Train. And that gentleman came out and stated and wrote down there's nothing wrong with the heat exchanger. So whom do I believe?
Okay. Now, as I said, because it's 20 years old, you're going to replace it anyway. But to get it paid, you have to show there's a bad heat exchanger. Now you have a diversity of opinion. You need a third party, but you need someone who actually does a test. Now, what did the technician from the manufacturer do to test it?
He cleaned it out. That's what he did. And he said there's nothing wrong with it. He said he's been doing this for a long time, and he just did a visual inspection and said that the flames were going upright. He stated that if there was a problem with the heat exchanger, the flames would be blowing out towards out the door.
He's a moron. Okay. So I know that he didn't do the proper test. You need a third opinion without telling anyone why you're getting it. Why was the person at your home looking at the furnace anyway?
Just for the tune-up, because we're under the maintenance
Gotcha.
plan.
All right. And that's why most people have maintenance plans, most businesses, because when it comes time to replace, they want to be there. And that's a perfect example of why companies love these memberships. And that's not a bad thing, by the way. It's just a reason. So, okay, you need to figure it out. And there are certain tests you should insist on. And neither one of your guys did them, which is so weird. So you hold on. We're going to get someone on to speak about heat exchangers and the absolute testing. But just to let you know, Michelle, we have had diversity of opinion with good companies on our referral list where one said the heat exchanger is bad and one said it's not, and one of them turned out to be wrong, and then exactly the opposite situation. I mean, it's weird. I don't know why it's such a mystery. It's a hunk of metal. Either it's good or bad. Hold on, and we will. Now, Daphne, to be clear here on Michelle, I want someone to speak about heat exchangers and the absolute testing procedure we would want to see to determine if it's good or bad. I'd like two opinions. Try to get, try to get George from Fix It 24/7 and try to get Todd Terry from Apple. Okay? Just for opinions. Marcia did not get her deposit back. Marcia, what's going on with you?
Well, we lived at Gardens of Cherry Creek for almost 3 years, and our lease was up, and we moved out September 21st.
Okay.
And we have been waiting. We have been waiting for our return monies since then.
Okay. By law, they have to let you know why they're keeping your deposit. They have to let you know or they give you a refund in 30 days if there's nothing mentioned in the lease, or it can be extended to 60 days under no circumstances beyond 60 days. So if you moved out
90 plus days.
It's not your move out date that you count. It's the expiration. When did your lease expire?
September 21st.
Oh, it was actually on the 20. Okay, that was odd. Okay, so if it's September 21st, they have 60 days from there. So they should have let you know by November 21st.
Nothing yet.
Okay, then I have a procedure I want you to do.
Okay.
You're going to write a letter, and you're going to ask for it within 3 days. Okay, now this is not legal advice. This is what I would do. I would write a letter saying, under state law, I'd look it up, you need to let me have my deposit or an explanation within 60 days.
Okay.
Make sure your lease says, it's going to be 60 no matter what if they extended it, but it could be 30. But it doesn't matter because it's beyond 60 now. Just say, by law, I should have had that by 60 days. And since I didn't get my money, I plan on suing you for triple damages if I don't receive it within 3 days. Now, that's it, man.
Yeah,
once you send that, then you sue them in small claims court for triple the damage.
Okay. My question is, do I send the letter to the Connor Group, which is the group that owns the apartment, or do I send it directly to the apartment building here in Denver?
Well, what do you mean directly? Who's at the apartment building? Do you have a resident manager?
Yes.
I would send it to the resident manager and to the group and to wherever I pay the rent. Just send more than one.
Okay. All right.
I would do it by email and by snail mail, but I would definitely do emails just as good. Here's the deal.
Okay.
Because it's notice, in fact, even if they try to split hairs and say you should have written. So write to them anyway. But I would send it, and then you do have to do the small claims court procedure, which is quite easy. How much is your deposit?
Okay. Well, I don't know because they don't say anything.
Well, I'm not asking that. I'm asking how much did you put down as a deposit?
Probably $700.
You better have proof of that. Do you have any proof of that?
Oh, yes.
What do you have?
I have the check that we paid them with.
Wonderful.
Cancel check.
Good.
I have the original lease.
All right, you're in Fat City, so you're gonna sue for $2,100. And listen, I can't believe they made such a boner. I can't believe it. Most of the time, management companies keep track of that. What were you gonna say, Deputy Dan?
Did they have your address to send it to?
Well, they've told me twice that they did not have my new address, and twice I've given.
By the way, that's not an excuse. They send it to your old address, and it's supposed. That's all they have to do. More of a pain.
And they're not claiming damages if she did something.
Pull down your pants and moon me.
Right.
But I would say I want the full thing.
So did you get an email from this lady about Centura?
Centura.
That she said she had a bill from Centura, but she never. Because that's a slam dunk.
Yeah. So I'm letting everyone know, and then
Her
I'm
name
gonna
is
reach
Judy.
out to the sales reps too and say, hey guys, like, the call centers, you know.
Okay, guys. TheRaleighHouse.com. The Raleigh House is addiction treatment. They have about 3 or 4 facilities. I just ran into the owner, Eric, at the gym. I really did, and we talked. Eric is a loving, concerned person who started this many years ago. And it has grown, and it is a wonderful community service. Now, here's the deal. If you want to know about addiction treatment, you should call them. You see, they want to help you, but they also want you to have the right match for you or for an addict in your life. So ask any and all questions. What is addiction? What is treatment? What does addiction treatment look like at the Raleigh House compared to other programs? What does it cost here? What does it cost there? Does insurance cover it? How do I approach the addict in my life? What do I do during the holiday season? It's very difficult. All of these questions, any questions, 720-730-9722. 720-730-9722.
I don't see it. Okay, it sounds like it would have been
What is
just
Israel
recently,
Newman?
right?
Huh?
What's Israel and Newman? Israel's and Newman.
It's a, God, we got so many people on. He's an investment, he's an attorney who handles fraud, securities fraud.
I just don't see it.
Okay.
Okay, I gotta just stack up these commercials. I am doing so bad.
Maybe
Sales reps,
Daphne
if they
has
have
her.
any issues or anything, to text me or call me on my cell, and then I will try and work it out. Because, I mean, everything's down, so they can't do anything. We do. One was rescheduled. Jeff went to his 9 a.m. And then,
I have another minute coming up soon, but keep talking
sure,
till you hear me.
sorry. And then
No, you're fine.
Brian has one in Parker this afternoon. He called and confirmed twice yesterday, and he said he's good. It's a roofing one, but it's insurance, so he was already exactly. It's a roofing one.
Just keep in mind these people will have to wait. I have a lot stacked up here.
So I think he's just getting a quote from him. So I'll text Brian separately.
Ted, what's your last name?
Roland. R-L-A-N-D.
I'll have to ask the guys tomorrow. I'll tell them I met you.
Yeah, they might not admit to it, but.
Well, if you admitted you know Lozo and Leventhal and that group.
Lozo, you know Lozo?
Yeah.
How do you know Lozo?
I actually know him through his wife. Nancy and Ellen are good friends.
Was it Karen? Who's Karen Lozo? Karen.
That's
wait.
a different.
No. Was there a Gail Lozo? Who the heck? Somebody used to volunteer for me, Lozo's wife, and I thought he was an attorney. Is Lozo an attorney?
Yeah.
A divorce, the divorce attorney.
There's a few Lozo.
There's a bunch of them.
Okay.
I play poke with one of them. And Leventhal's brother is the biggest malpractice attorney in the state. Jim, yeah. I'm glad I never went against him.
Who?
Jim Leventhal. He's the biggest malpractice attorney in the state.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know Jim. I know Steve.
You know Jim? Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And his son also is a malpractice attorney. Sean.
Man, Denver trial attorneys have really gotten a lot of
But they got $22 million for a bad baby.
birth and trial.
You got how much?
See, I thought there was. I thought there was some kind of limit.
Well, there is, because you're only insured for usually you have a $1 million, $3 million policy. That's standard. And then you usually, when I was practicing, I had my own $5 million umbrella. So the most they could get from me was $8 million. But knock on wood.
You never had a case. That's so wonderful.
I never had a suit for a birth injury or a bad baby. I had one suit for a minor gynecologic issue, a mistake during surgery, which happens, but never.
What kind of surgery?
Oh, it was a hysterectomy where we nicked somebody's ureter, that kind. But nothing. But never.
But I'm sure that had to have been in the normal release, like.
It is, but it's still.
It's amazing.
Copic just settles. They're such a great insurance company.
Who?
Copic.
Yeah.
You've not had people hate you. That's
no, because you do that. When we're talking about communication.
That's such a like so much.
You're a good communicator, deputy.
Yeah. Plus, like I said, they make you take these courses, and your insurance rates go down.
Oh, courses on communication.
How to communicate.
Really?
If there is an error,
how
to
good.
deal with it.
Makes sense.
And most of the people just want to be made whole. They don't want punitive damages. If they miss 3 weeks of work, they want to get paid for those 3 weeks. And Copic does such a good job of preempting it that they rarely get punitive damages or pain and suffering because they teach you how to deal with it.
I'm Tom Martino, 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. This is an important show with so many issues. I got to get right to the phones. Okay, so Marie called us originally about a scam. And I want to get to that because I have so many parties waiting for this one. And Marie, originally you called, and just explain it in a couple sentences.
Hi, Tom. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, this is Marie. Back in April, we were encouraged by our friend to join an investment, and it's an investment called ICOM Tech. It's with cryptocurrency, mainly Bitcoin. When we joined, we have to send the money to our uplines. So we do have receipts.
So it's network.
PayPal.
It's network marketing.
Right.
Okay, and you invested $30,000, and you got your friends and neighbors to invest for a total of about $300,000.
Correct.
Okay, now you found out it was a scam. How did you find out it was a scam?
When the company stopped releasing money, and we also found out that they were not mining and trading with Bitcoin.
So they were selling you shares in this company.
Correct.
Or were they supposed to be buying Bitcoins for you?
They were supposed to buy the Bitcoin with the money that we invested, and they will give us daily shares, and they call it daily rewards.
And were you ever given any money back?
They give us back daily rewards depending on your investment, and with that, you can cash out every Friday.
Okay, how much? Give me an idea of how much you got.
As far as how much you can cash out?
How many rewards, interest, whatever you call it, how much did you get back?
Okay.
There's a number there. There's a number there, Marie. You invested $30,000. Did they ever send you a check for $5, for $100, for $1,000? Did they ever send you any money back?
Yes.
How much?
You can get it through. We got about, so for $2,500, you can get about $15 to $20 or $23 a day, Monday through Friday.
Marie, so they maintain an account where you can go in and draw it out?
Yes, Tom.
Okay, how much did you draw out from your total? How much total have you drawn out?
I was probably able to draw out about $5,000.
Okay, so that led you to believe it was pretty honest since you had an account.
Correct.
And your friends did the same thing?
Yes, most of my friends were able to not withdraw. I mean, they didn't have to withdraw because they're trying to get away. We're trying to get away from the 17% fee. So with the earnings that we have in the account, we were able to have our friends and family join, and that allowed us to save 17%.
Okay, that's why you did the referrals. So you and a bunch of friends got cheated. What makes you think you were cheated?
It's been about 4 to 6 months now that we haven't been able to receive our cash out.
And in other words, is the website still up for you to log into?
The first website has totally shut down. They made a new website, and that is the website that you cannot withdraw your money. You can look at it.
Okay, do they still contend that your money is there waiting for you?
We haven't received any communication. We reached out to a lot of people that we knew in the company, and we have no response.
Okay, so they've kind of gone dark, and they closed their U.S. operation. Rene is a Spanish-speaking helper. He's our deputy who went and looked into this because everyone scammed by this were Mexican Americans or Spanish-speaking. Now, Rene, did they close up their U.S. operations?
I don't know about, Tom, about closing. What I did find out in further research is that they've gone through about 4 different website addresses ending in different .coms or .ios or .nets. Right now they're currently operating on a .org, and I'm assuming it's because either they're shutting it down or it's being shut down, and they're coming up with a new one, and every time they come up with a new one, Adina has stated that their balances are at 0 or way less than what their balances were prior.
So you talked to a lot of people who invested money in a Bitcoin company to buy Bitcoins for them and share in the wealth, but you're saying none of them got their money back, or they can't communicate any longer with the company.
Right, it's a total loss of communication. What has everybody alarmed right now, because you have, if you have your notes, Tom, we have numbers there for all the people involved, and we cannot get a response out of any one of those.
These phone numbers are on the website. Now, where is their main base of operation?
They're operating out of New York and Utah, and on the website they state that they have an office in Guadalajara, Mexico.
Okay, now hold on, because I'm going to bring you up. I'm going to bring you up with Aaron Israels. Aaron is an attorney who does securities fraud litigation. He goes after people. Aaron, in a sentence, what does your firm, Israels and Newman, specialize in or emphasize?
Tom, we file lawsuits for different people, different companies all over the country where we try to recover money that has been lost in investments or has been stolen associated with the making of an investment.
Okay, so if everything they say is true, they invested money in this, they bought Bitcoin or whatever they did, doesn't it sound like a typical scam?
Yeah, Tom, this really sounds like a scam to me. One of the big problems and just a red flag that I see right off the gate is for every $2,500 you invested, you were making $23 per day. And if we look at that, just annualizing it, that's a 335% return a year, which that's completely unheard of.
All right, another thing, Aaron, if they are headquartered in Guadalajara, does that make it difficult or impossible?
Tom, I'm a little pessimistic once we start crossing borders for litigation. I mean, there's a chance, but it's a very, very, very slim chance at best. If that's where they're fully operating, that's where the money's located. There's a lot of problems associated with cross-border transactions.
Do you have any questions for Rene, who spoke to the victims, or Rene, do you have any questions for Aaron Israels? Rene has really gotten pissed off about this after talking to so many victims. They do have some U.S. offices.
Okay. One of the first questions I have, Tom, that piqued my interest.
Hold on, Renee. Hold on, Renee. What is one of the first questions you have, Aaron?
I want to know who her friend was that told her to make this investment. Because if this was a financial advisor or a broker, they could potentially have recourse against the company
It was just it was a friend of hers. It was a doctor, but not her doctor. It was just a friend, right, Marie? Excuse me. Let me ask Marie if you guys can hold on. Marie, this doctor was just a friend, right?
Yes, she's a friend, and her friends that encouraged her to join is also another doctor in Tampa, Florida.
Okay, they're just a bunch of doctors that talk amongst themselves. So, Aaron, really, it's just, some doctors tell another doctor, it happens with radio people or it happens with people who are, in business together. They just talk. So, no, she doesn't have an investment counselor to go after. But have you, Aaron, I know we just laid this on you this morning. Did you look at their website or anything?
I just pulled it up as we were on the phone. I didn't know the name of it.
All right, if you could do me a favor and look at Aaron, if you could just look at the website, Daft, make sure he gets the right information. We'll get his initial thoughts. And then just, if nothing else, warn others.
The fact that it's gone down from 10,000 to 7,000.
What went down?
The Bitcoin. So even if they were legitimate and invested in Bitcoin, they've lost 33%. They've lost a third of their investment, and that may have.
If it was contingent on that, if they actually.
Well, of course it's going to be contingent.
Nobody knows. No, what I'm saying is, nobody knows what the fuck it was.
So remember, these are miners. They're not investing in the Bitcoin directly. They're investing on the mining of getting the Bitcoin.
They said.
I don't. No, because.
Daily.
But no. If you mine Bitcoin, you need a huge amount of computing power.
Sure, absolutely.
But
these people
we're talking about fucking scams. It doesn't matter what the reality is.
Right.
We're talking. They said they were mining.
Oh, they did say they were mining.
Yeah, right. That's what they said. I mean, getting into the minutia of whether they really did or not.
No. I thought they were just investing in mining. There's a big difference between investing and mining.
They're investing in people who are mining. I didn't hear what you said.
I said I didn't know if you knew, but you have a Big Johnson coming up.
Perfect.
5 seconds away.
Good.
No. Credit Karma. Here's to progress.
I love when I can look at a video and see a product in action. That's when I know I love it. Johnson Construction has hail-proof roofing. The roof in and of itself is wonderful because it's got a lifetime warranty. Just that alone. You may say, wait a minute, there's a lot of exceptions. Oh, there are a few exceptions, but you'd be shocked at how few exceptions. A lifetime warranty and hail-proof warranty. And here's the deal. It looks beautiful, even though it's made out of recycled tires. In fact, it's good for the environment. A typical house will give you like 1,000 tires recycled. It's stunning in design, extremely durable, and by the way, installed by the experts at Johnson Construction. I want you to look at the video to see how hardy it really is. It's called EuroShield. Eco-friendly as well. By the way, it has some sound deadening qualities for the home and also some insulating properties. Roofsbyjohnson.com and roofsbyjohnson.com. That'll give you the video and the contact information.
Green, do you suffer from depression? Have you tried medications that either didn't work?
But you're right.
Side effects such as weight gain or sexual dysfunction. Roughly 40 million adults in the United States suffer from depression. If your loved one suffers from depression and traditional medications,
I guess the investment would be computing power, electricity.
Right. No, I didn't understand whether they were investing in people.
Here's what they said. The come on is that you invest with us.
Right.
We are miners.
Okay.
And we will share with you profits. Whatever.
Okay.
I think that was. Why don't you look it up online? It's
What is their?
Tell them what it is.
What is their website?
It's icomtech.org.
ICOMTEC.
I think it is.
We looked it up. Yeah, we already looked it up.
303-502-5911. Again, that important number, 303-502-5911. Or online at
ICOM.
What is the? Okay.
Make as much as $1,000 in as little as 10 days. Hey, it's Ross Kaminsky for American
Okay, there it is.
Financing, and instead of letting credit card interest compound at 18
It's
or
originally in
more,
Spanish.
move it into your mortgage at a much lower rate.
Do you see it?
Save up to $1,000.
So what do they say they're doing?
Mortgage rates haven't been this low in over a year. So now is the time to take advantage.
Invest your cryptocurrencies in the best blockchain ecosystem of the world, whatever the frick that means.
In as few as 10 days. So call American Financing's salary-based mortgage consultants today. It takes just 10 minutes to start. There's no commission, no obligation, no pressure, and never any upfront fees.
Well, blockchain. You know what blockchain is?
Yes, but what?
So they're just throwing out words to make it sound impressive, because everybody's heard about blockchains.
First of all,
right.
Cryptocurrency, man. Unless you know what the hell you're doing, you're going to get burned.
Or if you have $1,000 to gamble.
And it's going down every year. It goes down to what you get.
There's absolutely no regulation. It's not fiat. There's nothing to it. It is perception.
How old will you be when you run out of money and retire?
Well, let's say you want to throw $1,000 in it and see what happens. As long as you know you're going to lose $1,000.
I've never known one person yet that I know that actually invested in cryptocurrency and converted it back to regular currency ever. Now, theoretically, people do it, but do you know any?
Oh, yeah. No, I don't, but I think a lot of it still is the dark people that are getting it.
No, I know people who've done it.
So they sold it, got cash.
Got cash, and they made money.
Yeah.
They made money.
Yeah.
They invested in actual coins.
No, they invested in Bitcoin. Yeah, in Bitcoin, and then sold it and rebought it. I know a guy who just does it with the profits.
And
with his profits.
It's what's funny is the system when they mine it, with this computer, with their computer processing, is just to manage the transactions, which then again allow you to use your Bitcoins. But I mean, if you look at the system in and of itself, it's fucking ingenious. The mining does have a value. I mean, so in an extent, the currency is limited. But didn't we say once before, wasn't there the ultimate number? Wasn't there going to be an ultimate number?
There is. There is a finite number of Bitcoins that are available to be mined.
Yeah.
Right.
But here's what I don't understand. When that finite number is reached, then they're saying they'll have just the amount of, if no one is mining, if it's all reached, then who is supporting the transactions if you don't have these other processors?
Well, no, you have 2 million Bitcoins out there to use as a essential barter method.
I understand.
And it's what you said.
But the transactions,
that
managing the wallets, the transactions, and the transfers,
that's
what is done. Well, yeah, but that was done and supported by people looking for Bitcoins. They were mining. By mining for Bitcoins, they were the infrastructure of the Bitcoin system. Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter, 303-713-TALK. We're getting into some complicated areas, but here it is. It's very simple, all right? Marie and a bunch of her friends invested in a company that promised to do stuff with Bitcoins, whether they buy, mine, invest, and it is definitely an investment opportunity. Now, we can't find it anywhere on the Securities and Exchange Commission. I don't know if they're breaking laws, and if they are, what do we do about it? I'm talking to an attorney who does securities law. He goes after liars, cheats, and frauds all over the country. Aaron Israels with Israels and Newman. So I want to ask, you saw the website. I mean, and I know we just sprung this on you this morning. What do you think, Aaron?
Tom, I think that this is a huge scam.
Yeah.
And I think that realistically, everybody involved needs to turn this over to the FBI. And I think that's probably their best chance of shutting this thing down, is to go directly to that level.
If we can get all of the victims to do that, they will listen. They won't listen to one. They may have an investigation going on already. But is there anything legally you can do with scams? I mean, can you at least scare them? I mean, what happens? Or they don't even care? I don't know. What is your gut feeling on this? If they have offices locally, I mean, in the U.S., does that make it easier to go after?
I think that it would. If you could find people associated with this scam in the United States somewhere, it would be a lot easier to bring them to court or something like that associated with this type of investment. But at the same time, once you serve them with process, are they just going to scatter? Are they going to show up? And has the money already been sent out? And that's the biggest problem with these cases. It's not necessarily getting your judgment against them. It's collecting.
I want to ask Marie, who got this group together of investors. Marie, do you represent these other? Do you represent these other people? Like I don't mean represent, but are you their spokesperson?
Yes, Tom, because I encourage them to join with
I got
me.
you. All right.
We did send our money to people in the U.S. We could not send the money directly to ICOM Tech, but we have David Brandt, Ivy Howard, Aline Hernandez, and they're all in the U.S.
Where in the U.S. are they?
Contact.
Where in the U.S.?
David Brandt and Ivy Howard are in Tampa, Florida. David Carmona is the owner, and we heard that he's also applying for citizenship, so we can probably get him going with the INS and then the FBI.
And I'll bet you that they have a lot of money, Aaron, from robbing these people, and that's my opinion, robbing them. But, Aaron, here's what I want to know. Obviously, these cases don't just fall off the shelf complete. There's a certain amount of initial consultation. What do you do when someone wants to know where they stand? Okay, like Marie, and she represents, let's say, how many other people? 10, 20, 30, Marie?
No, Tom, about 200.
Now, are you in touch with all 200?
Yes, Tom.
Now, Aaron, it seems to me that this is a pool of people who could muster up some legal stuff if they have to. I'm serious. I mean, these guys, it wouldn't be that much divided by 200. How do you do your initial consultations? This is important to go after these guys.
Tom, our initial consultations, regardless of how we're billing, are always free because we want to size up the case and make sure that we can actually give some good value to the case before we take it on.
What I would like to do, and again, this may be hopeless, who knows, because they're offshore, as they say, actually, technically, not offshore, but in Mexico, here's what we can do. We're going to set it up. Here, do me a favor, Dav, and let Erin have her number, Marie, and let's see if we can just do an initial consultation and then follow Aaron along to see if there's something there. This is chilling. This is really chilling. Now, we still have the story of Sarge, the seeing eye dog, and we have other things, but there are people I need to take. First of all, Michelle has a warranty in Cincinnati on a heat exchanger. If she has a bad heat exchanger, she could get the furnace paid for. But here's what happened. The train guy comes out and says there's nothing wrong with it. Her guy says there is something wrong with it. George, have you heard of this before with heat exchanger warranties? George Donaldson is with Fix It 24/7. He's simply serving as our expert. Go ahead, George.
Hey, Tom.
Hey.
Sorry, what was the question again?
In other words, is there often a controversy when you have a heat exchange warranty? The manufacturer comes out and says, hey, there's nothing wrong with it, where the technician feels there is something wrong with it.
I have never personally had the problem with the manufacturer having an issue with it and saying there's nothing wrong with it. It is often a controversy, though, between different technicians. There's some that know how to check them, and there's some that, there's many that think they do, but they don't.
Now, in each case, I'm going to bring up Michelle. Michelle, in each case, they did not do any gas or smoke testing that you saw. All they did was visually, right?
That is correct, Tom.
Visually inspected it. George, I don't think you can do just a visual when you have two people disagreeing.
Correct, that you cannot. So the first step is visual, and then if you think there's something, even if it really seems to be a crack, unless it's a gaping hole that's just obvious to anybody, which it usually is not, it's usually a seam or a crack that expands and opens up if there is a crack once it's hot, and you obviously can't see it when it's hot. So the only way is to do either a water test, smoke test. There's an oil you can spray on the outside and see if it seeps through. There's a few different tests you can do, but there's no way, especially if there's a disagreement, to know who's right. Either of them could be right.
Okay, did you see that, Michelle? Neither of them did the right kind of testing.
Yes, and gentlemen, here's the thing. We're not going to risk our safety, so we have the furnace turned off.
Well, okay. Michelle, you have CO2 detectors, new ones?
Yes, but this is my 94-year-old mother's house, and right now I got portable plug-in heaters for her. I just, I don't want to take any chances with a loved one.
All right,
I
but
understand.
how old? Well, the furnace, and here's the thing, George. This is something to keep in mind, okay? The furnace should be replaced anyway. It's 20 years old. That's not the issue. She's going to get the furnace replaced. Here's the issue. Should the furnace be paid for or not by Trane? That's really the only issue. She's going to get a new furnace, whether the heat exchanger is bad or not. I told her at 20 years, why not? She'll save money just because of the new efficiencies. But whether or not Trane pays is the main issue. We'll come right back to this and more. You know, you don't have to keep Aaron on at all. Okay, thank you. You didn't. Thank you. You're doing a great job.
It's a big icy mess this afternoon. Great idea to avoid going out on the roadways. So
21 million bitcoins is the maximum.
Yeah,
right.
Is the maximum number?
So they're going to mine.
And how many more left?
A little over 2 million.
So when that's done, again, how do they support the transaction?
There's a fee onto the.
Okay, but who does the processing of those? Because right now, the only reason those blockchains work is because people are eager to do it.
There are organizations that facilitate the transfer and the buying and selling, just like a stock exchange.
But they don't do it alone. They do it. Who?
I don't really understand all that stuff with that.
Are you done with George completely?
Top truck.
No.
With the best gear, built Ford proud. Price to sell.
George.
Only at your local Ford
No, but
store.
there are.
MileHighEstatePlanning.com. This is inevitable law for wills, estate planning, probate, whatever you need. Mile High Estate Planning will accomplish it for you. Blake Harris, attorney at law, located near Union Station with free parking. Excellent online reviews, all 5 stars. And he always has free consultations and convenient appointments, meaning after hours and weekends. He does prenups and postnups, not to mention, of course, the power of attorney documents, simple wills, beneficiaries deeds, I lost track, and all kinds of trust work, whether it's revocable trust, irrevocable trust, amending or dissolving. He does living trusts and asset protection. MileHighEstatePlanning.com. 720-924-6171. 720-924-6171. Thank you so much. All right, I forgot to set my timer. Thank you.
For you, mortgage rates are incredible. Done this hour. Done. Upsize your space. Hey guys,
So I've never done anything with
Okay,
this
so
stuff.
in hour 4, no, 3, you have a headline. Can we put that fuller in the 30 break since there's nothing there? Okay, thanks.
That just like trading stocks, when you have someone facilitate a Bitcoin trade, they charge you for it.
Right, there's a fee on it, plus the mining.
No. Let's say all the mining is done.
But there's a fee now, right?
Right, there's a small fee.
Right, so if I want to,
can't get enough money.
if I want to change my Bitcoin into cash, there's a fee. They use. That's how they.
They do what now?
So if I want to change my Bitcoin into cash, then there are sites you can go to, the companies that will do that, and they charge you a fee, just like when you trade stocks.
Right, okay.
E-Trade or Schwab gets a fee.
And they do all the processing.
And they do the processing and charge a fee for it.
But what about when I buy something from him and we use Bitcoins, who does that transaction?
Yeah, that's
Who
what
does?
Then I think it's just, that's what the blockchain does, it's person to person.
But it does that because you have miners making up the blockchain.
Right, but who collects the fee?
That's what I'm. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I know. I don't. Yeah.
Is there going to be like a Visa? Is there going to be a master organization?
I can't believe government can allow this.
I'm sure they have figured it
They
out.
have no way to stop it, that's the problem.
They could just say
And how do they
all
determine
companies
value?
cannot accept Bitcoin.
Well, a lot of companies don't, but it's
How do they determine the value of it?
Excuse me?
How do they determine the value? What this
The value is what
Anybody
you're willing to pay for it.
Well, yeah, that's just.
That's just market value, whatever.
But there's a little more to it in that. At least it has a finite number, and at least it has value for the mining. It's like gold mining or anything. I mean, they are providing value with the processing.
It's a lot like commodities in a sense.
What's that?
It's a lot like commodities in a sense.
Yes, but my only question had to do with once it's exhausted, you don't have eager beavers anymore. I don't understand.
You're left with a short straw.
And what happens to unclaimed bitcoins? What kind of a sheet do they have for unclaimed?
You're going to have wallet, you're done. 44% of Bitcoin transactions are illegal.
So nice to have a clean kitchen.
Thank you so much.
Illegal activities.
Man, is it hopping in there as much as it is in here?
No, you're working way harder.
Yeah.
No, you are. You're working way harder.
That's why we're not seeing any sandwiches.
Are you looking for countertops? Do you want to renew your kitchen? Because we have a 4-hour show scheduled, 2-hour windows, but they're soft windows. Because you take the time to come on a day like this and we hardly talk, we got to keep you here. I'm hoping you can do that.
I can stay for a little bit. I got to pick up a dog.
Because if I knew that, I would have worked you in more.
Yeah.
You got a dog?
Well, I got to pick up my daughter's dog. She's been pinned up since 6 o'clock this morning.
It's been what?
She's been pinned up since 6 o'clock this morning. So I gotta free her.
He will do the designing, the tear out of the old, and the installation of the new. And it's one stop, artistic, skillful, and affordable. She just said, I got 11 inches in the back.
I'm just Googling it right now.
She could have chose better wording.
I can't even put it in.
Ask Alexa to play 6:30.
Official snowfall at noon in Castle Rock. By Channel 9.
I got them earlier. I'm getting them sporadically, but I can't reply.
I'm Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. All right. We are talking about a heat exchanger, what test to demand. Okay, I want to make it very easy, George. She's in Cincinnati, so I can't send someone out from Fix It 24/7. So what test does she ask for when she calls for a test?
I mean, it could be a smoke test. It could be a water test. Any of them.
All right, smoke, water. I just don't want something they can manipulate. And sometimes these gas sniffers, these orange gas sniffers with the gooseneck, where they hold it up to the vent and they say, oh, see, you have poisonous gas coming out. They can set those things to go off with anything.
Yeah, it's the number one scam. It's the biggest scare tactics that technicians try to use. Even if your heat exchanger is cracked, the burners have to be burning out of line. It's highly unlikely that it would be leaking carbon monoxide anyway, even if it did have a crack.
Because I know, and people don't understand that part either. So, Michelle, I'm glad you're erring on the side of caution. So you need to call if maybe yet another company or call back. Here's the deal. The Train manufacturer, Train is a good company, but this consultant they hired, where did he come from? You know?
He was an independent installer of Train. He was recommended by the Train manager. So
okay, here's what I'd like you to do. George, do you know anyone in Cincinnati in the business?
I don't know anybody there, no.
Okay. I don't know what to tell you, Michelle, except you need to find a really good company with good reviews, somebody who you know and trust to do, or ask your company. See, this is what bothers me, Michelle. Why didn't your company do those tests?
It's a good question.
Well, why don't you find out and call us back? Really, call us back on that. Thank you very much, George. Fix It 24/7, of course, the home of the $39 find and fix problem. Of course, it costs more to fix, but they credit you that $39. So they're at 720-526-3939. Thanks for being here. Now, Gail, again, we're going to continue your story, but I wanted to just say that it's weird how people act around blind people with seeing eye dogs or guide dogs. What happened that really ruined your relationship? You lost this dog, which costs thousands of dollars to train. What happened?
Yeah, $66,000 dog. Yeah, destroyed in about 5 seconds.
What happened?
So what happened was I was crossing 13th and Downing in Denver on a Sunday morning, going to church, and crossing the street. And of course, being blind, I didn't know there was a woman coming at me. I didn't know she had a dog. And so I'm in the middle of the street, and the next thing I know, there's barking and growling and all this going on. Her dog was evidently on a long leash, and that she let her dog interact, come at my dog, whatever, with my dog in such a way that distracted him. And what's he to do if it's another dog that's in his face? And they went around and around and barked and growled, and I don't know if they attacked each other or played. I don't know what really.
Well, the point is whether your dog wants to play, whether your dog wants to play or fight, you should never let your dog interfere with a guide dog, because what happened? Well, I don't understand why they wouldn't give Sarge another chance.
Because my life is in his paws, and that's too big of an infraction of my safety to know or not know that that could happen again.
So they reassigned the dog.
Yeah, he's a police dog now.
And so Sarge has another life, but you are very, very sad and distraught about this, because you're saying more than not, people don't know how to act around these dogs.
Absolutely.
I'd like to ask you how they should act. We're running out of time, so I'm going to come up with that. This is a great story, and people need to know it. They assume, they're just playing, no big deal. Or kids going up and petting them and distracting them. You can ruin an investment and end someone's life. We have more coming right up.
Stock markets go up and markets go down. Hi, I'm Linda Gardner, host of Your Money, Your Retirement, Saturday on
Well, that to me is totally different training, a police dog versus a C&I dog.
So someone else's dog came along and basically got into a fight with their dog.
Right.
And that ruined the dog?
Well, because the dog engaged in a fight.
Right, so they didn't want to be... Versus destroying it, they reassigned it.
Yeah.
I wonder if the other dog was destroyed.
And there's no provision to give her another dog?
Well, she'll get another dog. Here's the point. She loved her dog. She had her dog. I mean, it's like all because she says, no, I'll still keep them. They said, no, they won't do it.
I wonder who reported it.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be something crazy at first, like.
I thought they were going to destroy it.
Right. That would have been But he's a police. I'll bet you he's a damn good police dog.
Well, how do you retrain? That seems like a big, but it's probably a smart dog.
Yep. Dan Kaplis at 4, 630 KHOW, Denver.
Still snowing. Oh, noon.
Noon, I know.
11.99 inches.
Where?
No, 9.99 inches.
Where?
No.
Oh, you're just bullshitting me, man.
The Denver Post has snow totals, but they don't have it for Castle Rock.
Well, but Channel 9 is the only one that he'll agree to.
Right.
Maybe that's the way out.
So stop trying to get around it, because he will never accept
No,
it.
I look
He's
at Channel
a
9
pain
News.
in the ass.
He says he already won because it's a foot.
I don't give a shit where he is.
No, he said he would. Yeah, 9 News.
Listen, I have a bunch of stuff I didn't do in my inventory, and I know you cleared out the 4th hour, so I'm going to do a lot. Okay.
Unless it's clear and like our bet with Social Security.
Right.
That's
How many CBDs did I do? Just 2 of them? Did I only do 1 CBD?
I still haven't. Here's my question.
This is everything they sent.
In 2011, okay?
I love it.
Okay, but let me just.
I write it down for you.
In 2011, the max was
really
X.
But you know what?
If you
NFL,
read in
baby,
66, right?
You got Grant.
Okay.
You got Grant.
Now my question is, in 2019,
Grant's coming in.
is it the same
man,
max?
after I trained you?
So the max, right?
That
Get
your
the
max
hell
goes
out
up
of
because
here.
of
Like
COLA.
right.
So what I'm saying is, was I getting 100% of the max in 2011? And you're saying no.
I say no because what
I
you're
didn't
getting
have
now, because what you're getting now should be max if you're worth that, and you're not getting max. Because the max would always be the same. That's how the max is adjusted with COLA.
Okay, but what I'm saying, when I applied in 2011, there was a maximum that you could get.
Right.
And You say I'm not getting that maximum because I didn't work 30 years.
35 years.
I didn't work 35 years. Right. Okay. And my contention is I got the max because I paid in for 40 quarters at the maximum rate.
40 quarters is just to qualify.
Okay.
For Social Security.
All right.
But if you're say somebody was getting the max in 1990.
No.
They would still be getting the max today.
No, I understand. We're not talking.
Okay.
Right. We're not talking about the actual amount.
Right.
We're talking about the percentage of the max.
Right.
Okay. Let's see.
What's going on, Mr. Trump?
No, I'm looking at the snow totals.
Oh, I thought you were.
They didn't have it for Castle Rock.
Is that Channel 9? I'll look up. What's today's?
I'm sorry, did you ask me something, Dan? I was...
No.
So we're not talking about the actual amount, we're talking about the percentage of maximum.
Right.
Okay.
Which would always be the same.
Right.
No, it was 1990. All I'm saying, if you got the max, whatever year would, you'd still be getting max.
Right.
Because the COLA.
Right.
Do you know, I look back
Pretty
on...
crazy, huh, Cam?
If you look at your Social Security, I look when I was in the service,
Yeah.
the most I got for a full year was like $2,500.
Right.
I was on the radio side of it for a while.
Is that a middle But you do get a pension for being in the Army, right?
No.
You don't get anything from being?
No. Right. You gotta have
20 years?
Do you know how big
20
Intercom
years
is in the radio
of
world?
active.
They
Now,
number
if you're
two.
active
They're number
and
two. You guys are number one.
reserve,
Intercom is number two.
Because they bought up CBS Radio last year.
I don't know how they do all the
Right.
points.
I'm just curious.
Mine,
I don't even know.
I should have stayed in because, like I say, they got even the reserves
I
got
wanted
good.
60.
But when I was my job,
Man,
there's
all
no
of
way
the
I
networks
could've
have
done
gone out of the radio business.
because you got to go one weekend.
I mean, the big
do
three.
it here.
Yeah.
Not the big three anymore.
Even though I probably could have forced them.
Streaming and digital and, events
I
and
hate
things like
reserves.
that.
Let me tell you.
Really?
Most people
Yeah,
really
it's not radio
Really?
anymore.
Oh God.
Much different than the regular?
Absolutely.
In what way?
They're only there for their money because they did it, they
Right.
tried it out, they're only there to get their little thing or to have lunch, stuff like that. I shouldn't say scumbag, that's too big a word. All I'm saying is, when you're in, I was in the Marine Corps and they're very structured, everybody's in there. Whereas you go, and I was in the Army Reserve and stuff.
Okay, my clear renewal,
And
they
my
obviously
nephew,
email me,
actually
but
trained for
they
SEAL.
say they don't have an email. I mean, they
He's a
email me
driver.
about my renewal and then
He's in
don't.
reserves, and he's doing this for
My email doesn't exist, so how
He
can
said
that
the same
happen
thing.
if they're
So
emailing
it's
me?
not just limited to Army Reserve.
Because I went on, forgot my password, they don't have that
I
email.
wouldn't want to go to war.
In the
That's
system.
what I was.
Solution is to pay less for your
Clear. I won't, oh my God, clear is so important.
It's like saying National Guard.
Do you realize, well, yeah,
What about
short term, but it doesn't matter.
I mean, I've
Well, I
seen
guess
that
it wouldn't
there
matter.
are.
I would say
It's just the convenience, my God, we get boom, boom.
You gotta love flying with jets.
Now, I understand, somebody told me pre-TSA is just as good, but.
You know what would be cool for them to do? You know, they always have these celebrities when they
Do you get right
come to
through?
town. The
Well,
celebrities
you
get
gotta
to
go
fly
to
with
the
my ex-girlfriend actually
global
did
TSA
that.
line, which is valid. You have to take
No,
all
she
your
got to
stuff off
fly
the-
with
Right.
the
Okay.
It's not as fast as clear because clear doesn't have the.
because she was
But how-
she was
what's the
some kind of charity. She was the head of some charity that was supporting veterans.
Pre-TSA.
So when the Blue
What's
Angels came back,
pre-TSA?
as an orchestra,
Is that a company?
she got to fly with them.
Oh, is that what
I
you
think,
have
know,
free?
If they had
I
like a
got gold,
line
which is
where
You're in
Global
the,
regular
are you
people
on the line?
pass
For
the
pre-TSA
I mean,
line?
wouldn't you
Yeah, but it's
love
a
to
fast
fly
line. It's a real
with
fast
the Blue
probably
Angels?
sick.
Hi, I'm Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. So what's going on and how can we help you? That's what we ask every day. I've been doing that, asking that in Denver for 40 years, and we're here to help. Spread the word about the show because we save money, we save time, we save hassle, and many times we have saved lives. Whatever your issue, you call us. K&H Home Solutions in the house today, and basically this is a day where you really start keeping track of home stuff. This hour brought to you by RealCBDThatWorks.com. RealCBDThatWorks.com. One of the biggest challenges I have as a consumer advocate is knowing who to accept advertising from. Most of the time, I approach people after I've used a product and loved it. And this is what happened. I've been sent dozens of products through the mail over the years, and I just, nothing ever happened. This CBD actually worked. It actually worked, and I loved it. and I still love it, and I take it. And now CBD has THC or not. They have both varieties. Here's what I want to say. I've concluded all CBD oil, all of it, works. It all works, right? To some more than others because we have different cannabinoid receptors. So it doesn't matter what brand you have. If it has true CBD, it will work. So why do I select this one? Because they're the only ones I found that truly have what they say through their pharmaceutical lab in Golden. You know, because somebody asked me the other day, if I had CBD oil, which one should I take? If you truly had the oil, truly extracted and truly pure, they would all work the same on you. And, you know, maybe somebody else differently. But it's not so much whether CBD works. It is the CBD that works, the one that does the pharmaceutical grade extraction and honesty on the label. Almost everyone else does not have what they say they have. So, realcbdthatworks.com. The same thing with stem cell therapy. Stem cell therapy, well, first of all, it never always works ever. But let's just say on the cases where stem cell works, it's going to work the same no matter what kind of stem cells or where you get it done, as long as they do the same. That means guided injections and all of that. It's not so much the science of the stem cell I question. It's the science of whether or not you're getting them. There are no good or bad stem cells. They're either stem cells or not. There are no old stem cells and new stem cells, and one is better than the other. There are different stem cells for different applications. The real problem you have with stem cells is finding real stem cells. So you see, whenever I do products and services and talk about stuff, we are talking about the variations in brands. Now let's talk about this dog. This dog, this is such a tragedy that a dog had a great long life and wanted Gail wanted this dog. And because of one stupid incident, the dog's retired to do something else or reassigned to do police work because they need seeing eye dogs that don't interact. And a lot of people will let their dog loose to run around and interact with service dogs of all kinds, and it can ruin a service dog. Michael, you have a comment on this service dog, the seeing eye dog situation. What is it, Michael?
Well, I'm pretty sure it was a guide dog. What I heard, this is the thing that I am a guide dog user myself, a blind person.
Yeah, and this dog was actually a seeing eye dog and a guide dog, but from the Seeing Eye Academy. Go ahead.
I don't know what school they're from. There are several schools out there, right, and there are some better than others, depending on their follow-up care. But this is the major thing that we deal with, and that's called an aggressive distraction. And there must have been some contact there, or the dog would not be retired. So I don't know what Sarge's situation is. I don't know what school they come from.
Well, you're saying there must have been a problem. We'll talk about that. Michael, did you call my show once about 10 years ago?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
And you invited me down to see your show, and
right.
I couldn't afford the transportation.
I remember that.
I would love to come on the air.
And then you wanted a job one time. We set you up for.
Yeah, we did the yellow cab thing, actually, and that was successful, by the way.
Well, thank you, Michael, for calling in. So what about that, Gail? He's saying this dog must have reacted wrong. Maybe the dog wasn't cut out to be a seeing eye dog. Really, I want to know, what did Sarge do wrong?
Great question. Sarge, at the end of the day, the woman's dog shouldn't have been inches away from him, and what's a dog to do when it is that close? I mean, he had really no choice but to interact with it, good or bad, right or wrong.
Right. Was Gail, was Sarge trying to protect you?
Who knows?
Okay.
I don't know, because I
did he? So he got into a dog fight.
Some kind of interaction, yeah.
So who reported it? What? In other words, why? If you had not said anything, like, who reassigned him? I thought you owned the dog.
I do own the dog. Once the lease C&I's policy is, once they hand the leash to me, he's my dog.
So what happened? Did you report him?
I did. I reported it probably 5 minutes after the fact to the trainer, because the trainer and I had, yes, we had been working on dog distraction issues. He was a young dog. I only had him 6 months.
Okay.
So he was only 2.5 years old. But at the end I was under control. I knew about, if I could hear the dog in advance, I would know what to do with other dogs. I was becoming
Here's what I'm
aware
asking, Gail. If another dog, is it possible that another dog would have been interfered with and not reacted the way Sarge did?
Hard to know, because
Okay.
it's hard.
I get it.
I didn't see it, and I don't know what that lady's dog, how far out that leash was.
Okay.
I don't know.
So you're saying that, and by the way, Gail, were you blind from birth?
Legally, and I had partial sight until I was 11.
Do you recall then what things look like?
Absolutely.
Okay. And you're totally blind now. You don't even see light, but you managed to get 2 master's degrees, which is amazing.
Right.
You also wrote a book.
Right.
Soaring into Greatness, a blind woman's vision to live her dreams and fly. If you had to sum that up in a sentence or two, what is that about?
That's a memoir of my life, overcoming obstacles, going from victim to creator of my life, and how did I go about doing that?
That's very cool. So listen, I want to ask in a nutshell, how should people act around guide dogs or seeing eye dogs?
People should, for this instance, if the woman would have said she was there, if the woman wouldn't have crossed the street, if the woman wouldn't have let her dog at my dog, all that would have been preventable.
Right.
But at the end of the day, people would keep their dogs on a 3-foot leash. If they would not, it's a class 3 misdemeanor to distract a dog, a seeing eye dog, in any fashion.
Okay.
So if that's waving at the dog, blinking at the dog, I've had people do that, touching the dog, talking to the dog, saying hi to me, saying hi to the dog, or much less letting their dog at my dog in any fashion. There's at least 50 to 80% of dog attacks or distractions are caused by other dogs out there on seeing eye dogs. So it's a big issue that's not being talked about. But if people would control their dog the second they go outside their front door, be it inside a building or outside the building, that would help us out immensely.
Now,
just don't interact with us.
Okay. I have another question, and this is a good lesson. If you see someone with a seeing eye dog, his life depends on that dog. Don't distract the dog. If you want your kids to pet a dog, go pet another dog, or at least ask permission at the very least. Is there a time, Gail, that I heard when you take a harness off, a dog can be a dog? Like, in other words, do they get breaks, or are they always on duty?
As long as they have the harness on, they're on duty.
That's what I mean. But but you can take the harness off and let them have fun.
If I chose to, but every time you do that, it could undermine the training that they go through.
Right. It's that's what I heard. So I want to ask you something that could be controversial, but everywhere you turn, you see service dogs of some kind. Now, true service dogs, according to the Disabilities Act advocates, they say it has to actually perform a service, something, a task. As far as emotional support, the Center for Disabilities, these people don't support necessarily those with emotional service dogs or emotional support dogs. Now, they don't have anything against them, but they say they don't get involved in the fighting. We have people who are advocates for the Americans with Disabilities Act. They get involved in fighting for those people's rights when they have an actual service dog. But there is a big chasm between an actual service dog and what people are calling emotional support dogs. Do you agree?
Absolutely.
Or emotional support snakes and peacocks and squirrels.
You're absolutely right. I mean, they have emotional support animals.
Right.
Yeah.
And doesn't that somewhat lessen the importance in people's eyes of a seeing eye dog? I'm serious.
Yeah, absolutely. I think because people have, quote, said, oh, I have a service dog, so they can pretend they have the same rights as I do just because they don't want to leave their pet at home. I mean, that's just not right. And then what they do, especially with dogs and cats, they're more common. You know, you find them in grocery stores, you find them, you know, everywhere, restaurants and just whatever. Then, and those dogs could be unruly, but and then the store owners don't want to say they're not service because they don't know the questions to ask. You know, like what is that for a disability and what service is that provide? They don't ask that because they're afraid of being sued. So they just let Tom, Dick, and Harry in with their dogs.
You're right, Gail.
And they're causing havoc. And then so I come in to the store with my legitimate service dog that's for my safety and for my independence and for my dignity and for my mobility. And I try to go through that store, but Fifi's over there barking and distracting my dog. And then they think they're entitled to that right because they didn't want to leave their dog at home because they miss their poor dog. But meanwhile, my dog's being distracted and because he can't help it.
Right.
And so, and then they're saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, my dog is, you know, normally nice," or, you know, I have the right where yours don't have the right.
Gail,
Gail,
if there's one thing you would like to tell people about interacting with a blind person, what's the one thing that really, if you had to pick one thing that really gets to you?
Oh, so many, but because of Sarge, I'd say the one thing that gets to me right now is the lack of responsibility, respect, and courtesy that C&I owners and people are not getting.
Okay, and I would say number 2 would be shouting at you.
They're absolutely.
I don't know why. Okay, I just got an email, and I have to take a break, but I got an email. Where do they find your book, Soaring into Greatness? Because one woman has a blind daughter.
Oh, awesome. My book, you can get it either on Amazon or for her blind daughter, she can get it through the Library for the Blind, all over the country, Bard, or Bookshare, or Amazon.
Thank you. Soaring into Greatness, a blind woman's vision to live her dreams and fly. What a wonderful title. And we have more coming up.
It's Ross Kaminsky. Mornings at 5. I've got the day off.
So does a red flash come on when they've been waiting an hour? Is that the...
I got a spot. Joseph A. Lazzara. This is a name of a defense attorney that I hope you never need. I say that every time I do the commercial. Why? Because really, most of the time you can prevent these cases. Of course, there are times you're falsely accused. If you're ever falsely accused about anything, Joe Lazzara can help. 303-429-6200. What about you're not falsely accused? What about you're an idiot? What about you drink and drive? Or you're going to go to an office party and this happens where you think you're not drunk, you just drank a little more than you should have, but you didn't think you were drunk and you turned out to be drunk. That's Joe Lazzara, 303-429-6200. It is very important you get proper representation. It will change your life if you don't. He has flat rate pricing. So when you're accused of any crime, it is a terrible time. And life doesn't always go perfectly, but LazzaraLegal.com can help you. Lazzara, that's 2 Z's and 1 R. LazzaraLegal.com, 303-429-6200.
The big boss man called. 1:30 car out. We have to be out of here at 1:30.
Oh, really?
Okay. Yeah.
So we need to. I'm gonna stop a little earlier then.
Yeah, I would stop.
Does somebody? We just gotta stop the show, or we gotta?
So here's what we do. Tell me what you want me to hawk right
break
now.
down like you always do.
Okay.
Just you do it a little bit early.
Buy one get one free.
Oh, I got it. The triple.
Yeah.
Okay. The triple whammy. I love it.
Yeah. Great meeting you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. You guys drive safe. Thank you.
When you have time, you don't even have to involve him. You should give us a call because I have some ideas of some cool stuff that can interact with our social stuff.
I love it.
And we'll get hits. I want to do some fun stuff on visuals like
absolutely.
I'll say how's the voice for you, Ted.
If he has a shadow,
My name is Ken Manfred.
beat the shit out of him. Or if he wants to put up and say the truck drive. I just want to do stuff that should be
I appreciate your help getting up, though.
We're sticking
the snow.
Watch out for curves. Things on our website.
I tell you.
Or owned and operated content, things like that.
But we can do a lot of those fun
Absolutely.
things. I'm sure they have a shit out of product
got
that
it.
will qualify for it.
Really, I mean, like that.
You got somebody
see
who I
the
think
curb
is
in
smart.
here.
I don't need
I got weak ankles.
No, I just like that you specialize in this space. I like that a lot.
Thank you.
Cool.
She's just good.
And she's from radio, which makes her better.
There you go.
Man, radio people have to think fast. Honest to God. I've never seen you work fast.
You got a card? I'm going to call you back on that one that I did call you on there and stuff again. Do you have a card?
Absolutely. So I have like a personal card.
Now, Ted, are you using her? I mean, Dan, are you using her for mistakes?
Yeah.
Are you handling? Okay.
Yes.
Good.
They'll filter through me. I have a personal card. Sometimes
And that's fine.
the phone it doesn't.
I have a light fourth, but I have some home inventory got to do.
There you go, my friend.
So we're good to get that new airplane. In fact, he's down in Arizona right now. He's flying back tomorrow.
It's not new. It's new to him.
Yeah, new to him.
You know, I would love to see if Bertie wants to get his helicopter license, and then he can check me out, and then we could trade.
And the bad thing with shingles, they never hear or feel strong.
Well, if it's just a sprain, it'll be
But they usually they're weaker though.
I've never sprained his ankle before.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah. So we'll see.
I mean, that's a big part of the reason that he left training.
No, because when I go hiking and stuff, I always try to be very careful. Because all you got to do is just one little slip.
Right. Yeah. Well, hopefully it's made a person last time.
Oh, look at the football players are out with like sprained ankles.
Yeah.
AJ Green and stuff's been out this whole year.
I'll tell you the biggest problem with football.
Well, tell him I said hi, and please tell him to text. I just want him to text me what he's got. I love keeping up with him.
That's so strong.
That
the ligaments intended,
this is the,
you can't build those up. So you're, let's say you're a healthy 20-year-old. Okay.
It could be a
and you have a healthy 20-year-old
I
football
thought I heard him talking, but
this report
any of those.
The ligaments are the same.
He's got the Mirage he
like
had.
So you get these huge
Malibu
muscles
Mirage.
that are putting much more
then
tension on strain. They weren't designed
Oh,
to,
it is a Malibu
to deal with.
Mirage upgrade. It's the soup. Yes. It's the top end. It's the top end Malibu. I want to find out.
Well, so about
because I'm a freak. Have you been up with him?
You just got.
Oh, you mean the
Meridian. That's what he. Oh, those are awesome.
Well, it's not so much cartilage. It's
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. 303-713-TALK, 713-8255. Frank Duran, therealestateman.com. You'll never do better than Frankie. Frank is a friend, and if he wasn't a friend, I'd still notice him as one of the best I've ever seen in interacting with people, communications, in buying and selling your real estate. Don't do it alone, not when you have someone like him. 303-920-1622. Yvonne's got a comment on the seeing eye dog problem. What was your comment, Yvonne?
Well, my opinion is that I think that those service dogs, they need off-leash time. And, of course, it's, dependent on the owner. But I think that, that those dogs have several thousands of dollars are trained in or spent in training these animals. And I think maybe if a owner doesn't feel comfortable giving the dog off-leash time, then maybe that should be something that would be applied to the training as far as what the dog receives the training, but also that the training should extend to the owner so that they know how to keep that service dog as a service dog of servitude, but also actually have, a life besides service.
Now, Yvonne, where do you come from as far as knowledge?
Well, I dabble in a lot of different things.
But how do you know about seeing eye dogs?
Because I've talked to people that train them.
Are you into animals like service dogs or emotional dogs or training of any kind?
Yes, not officially, because you don't have to have a license to do so.
No, I know that. I was just wondering if, because you were giving recommendations, and I was wondering if you know about this stuff, because there are so many people that are real. I don't know why, but there are so many people that are just so good with training, and others don't have a clue. And, we have the Mutt Master. I believe she should be on our referral list. Mutt Master, can you check? She's wonderful. Oh, my God, is she wonderful. She did stuff with our little poodle that you would not believe. She was unbelievable. And the little poodle turned out to be a big poodle, a standard poodle. Judy, what's going on? No, is that, no, I got the wrong. There's Judy. Judy, what's happening? Yes. What's going on with you?
Well, last Wednesday I got an email from a group called Centura Service Area.
I believe they sent it to me. I think you forwarded
it. I sent it to you.
Yeah.
I sent it to you.
And tell me about it.
Well, they want $654.
Hello?
I've never heard of Centura Service Area.
Yes, it's probably just a scam.
Well, this is what I thought, and I went into the Pay Now, and they want me. I put in my last name because they asked for my last name, and they said, "Well, we can't find your file by that. Now put in your birth date." I'm not going to put my birthday in there.
Of course not. This is a phishing expedition. That's why they do it. I'm so happy that you were able to key in on that. It is a scam, and you picked up on it. You picked up on the phishing part of it. In other words, people say this, they say I have money coming or I owe money, I'm going to find out. The mere action of putting in your email or some information on you is what they want to begin with.
Right. And I just wanted to let you know so that you could let your listeners know.
Okay.
It's called Centura Service Area.
Well, thank you. And not just for Centura, Judy, but for any kind of unfamiliar invoices or companies that want to go fishing, even familiar ones, like when they say you got to go to Facebook and they provide you a link, put in, and change this or change that, or, your one account has been hacked, and then you click that and it's the wrong link. And unless you're very sophisticated, you don't know how to read a URL to know if you have been scammed or not. Now, Gail has a comment on what Yvonne said. Basically, Yvonne said, you got to let the dog have some off-leash time or out-of-harness time to get some recreation, or you can burn them out. That's her basic message. Gail just wanted to respond. Gail, I did the interview with Gail about her dog Sarge and how it was meddled with another dog, and she just wanted to put out the word that if you see a working dog, a seeing eye dog, please don't interfere with it, and don't let your kids pet it unless you ask permission. And it's really something they have as a necessity and as a life-saving and also life-changing accessory. And it's not just a pet. So, Gail, let me just warn you. You're going to hear a lot of people weigh in and have comments on all kinds of things, and you'll get old trying to respond to each and every one. But you wanted to say something about the comment on recreation. Go ahead.
Well, she acted like we don't give our dogs recreation, and it's the CNI's owner's job to. They're not in harness 24/7.
Sure.
They go, like that day I was going to go to church, so he would have been in harness from 9 a.m. to 2 or 3 p.m. Who knows? And then we would come home and played, and he loved to play.
Okay.
So it's up to the grad to play with the dog 95% of the time. It's not up to the public to play with the dog. They don't have that choice, and they don't have that right. It's my right to play with my dog on my time in my house.
Okay, well, and that's fine. And I do appreciate, because you're so involved and so directly affected, that you want to set the record straight and make people understand. And I understand that too. So thank you for that. Again, I don't think any of us understand what it is really, truly like, ever, truly, to live in that kind of with that kind of a disability. And I call it a disability. I'll call me politically incorrect, but so many times we see people who are blind, we see people who are in a wheelchair, we see people who are quadriplegic, we see all kinds of people, and we don't truly have a clue. Not a clue. I mean, I often wonder how I would react in a situation, and I see these smiling faces, and I wonder, how are they so happy and accomplished? We have a friend, Chris, and Chris Lane, she fell down this embankment while hiking with her son and was paralyzed. This woman is so incredibly positive that My wife and I have a funny little saying, okay? Whenever we're complaining, we say, think about Chris. She doesn't complain about anything. And here's the deal. A small request like leaving their dogs alone is a pretty easy thing to abide by. And as far as rest and relaxation, look, how many times do you hear that from everyone? Even teenagers, they need rest and relaxation, you know, they need downtime. Here's the point, is that I think service animals do need rest and relaxation. I think everyone does. But again, we're not going to get into a discussion here about that. It's really, we're going to move on. And Charles wants to talk about Medicare and a supplement. I want to get Integra Insurance on because this is open enrollment and it's a very, very complicated time or a complicated issue when it comes to Social Security. Now, if you're looking for health insurance, that's good too. You should look for help and never do it yourself. And so we're going to talk about that supplemental thing because I want to know about that. I want to know about how do you pick a supplement and why not just go to Medicare Advantage or what's the difference? That's a good topic. I'm Tom Martino. Anything you want to talk about, you call 303-713-TALK. I promise you, where other shows will turn you away, you will never be turned away here with a problem, a question, or a complaint.
This is Denver's Talk Station with Tom Martino. Now, Michael Brown at 2, 630 K.
They still made me buy a ticket.
For what was that? I'm sorry?
I said she was my emotional support girl.
Oh, I should have a lot of those. I'm going to have to do that.
I like that.
This report is paid for by Doctor-Patient Unity.
Some of our icy spots are melting away, but we've got a few fender benders.
You know, we were concerned when you left thinking, well, and as well we should have been, but Ugly Ed's doing a great job.
I-70 is shut down east of Denver.
We love them.
Westbound I-70 still closed for the wreck.
Not better than you, just as well as you.
Cancellations on RTD light rail routes A, C, D, E, and F. Denver forecast heavy snow and freezing fog, high of 26.
So here's what I have. Fuller, Retro Foam, and Mile High.
Cold on Wednesday.
No, Castle Rock doesn't come up.
I know.
Thanksgiving Thursday, partly sunny and 36. Right now it's 24 degrees with your
So
impact traffic. I'm Dustin Ritchie on
they'll
630
find it.
KHAL.
Doctors support removing patients from
Rocky's Autos?
billing disputes, so independent healthcare experts
Okay, gotcha.
agreements with insurance companies. The insurance company solution is
Okay, got you guys.
Healthcare. Tell Congress stand with doctors and patients to end surprise billing. Paid for by Doctor-Patient Unity.
You know, you're hurt in a traffic accident. What's the first thing you do? Of course, if you're hurt, you get your medical help and all that. I mean afterwards. Don't ask friends and neighbors about anything because they all have a different opinion. They're mostly wrong. You go to John Fuller, Fuller Law, for free legal advice. That's right. He gives you free legal advice right up front, free initial consultation. Why? Because he wants you to be armed with proper information before you choose an attorney. And he'll tell you if you have a case or not. 303-597-4500. Free information when you need it most. 303-597-4500. PersonalInjuryCO.com.
And your purchase appears at your doorstep.
I think it's going to be hard to find out snow depths in Castle Rock.
Well then, guess what?
I will bet you another $50 that Mark finds out.
It's only Channel 9, we said.
I know, but he's going to find out.
Well, we're going to call Channel 9 and ask. I'm going to talk about it, remind me.
All right.
Well, you're in on it, too.
Learn more at energyfactor.com.
One topic where you get a lot of opinions mostly wrong is when it comes to estate planning. MileHighEstatePlanning.com will give you the accurate information. And I know Blake Harris personally now, and he has become such a trusted source of guidance for me personally, plus for our listeners. Here's one thing you hear. You don't really need asset protection unless you have millions of dollars, and it's not true. The richer you are, actually, the more you can defend and fend off these people who come after you for lawsuits or meaningless things. When it comes to asset protection, hey, if you have a $100,000 estate to $500,000, that little niche, you also need it. And he can do prenups and postnups. He can also do powers of attorney, wills, simple wills, and of course trusts of all kinds. That's MileHighEstatePlanning.com. 720-924-6171. 720-924-6171. That's his cell. You can even text it.
Is your business still settling for slow internet? Well, time is money. Switch to Comcast Business now and get a great deal on
Fantasy Life is on next Monday.
With a 30-day money-back guarantee,
Hey Tom, how was did you do your spotting golden yesterday?
Yeah.
Did you get any problem with traffic coming back?
None. Either way, which was weird.
Well, I'm not
we were
surprised going
so
there.
happy. No, it was normal, but nothing really heavy that I thought I was going to get. Which is, that's important, you know. That's really important.
They definitely predicted this storm right. I thought they were going to be a little. I thought they were going to over-report it, but.
Well, I'm glad I'm only going to Boulder for Thanksgiving. I have to fly anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, by
Thursday they'll clean it up.
I know. I'm saying by Thursday
really
it'll be
good
fine.
about cleaning up there.
I'm not worried about driving to Boulder on Thursday.
No, I mean the airport.
Oh, the airport, yeah. But it's just when they cancel flights.
Yeah.
The backup takes a while to undo. You know that.
Especially over a holiday.
Yeah.
Or you can go to a place that treats you like a person. The Art of Granite. The owner, Mitch, lets you pick out granite from his yard.
This is where I was, his place. I love him. God, what a good guy he is.
Who's that? Mitch?
Yeah, he's such a good guy.
And you don't pay for any more granite.
How much time in this break?
Art of Granite supplies premier designer countertops and cabinets. A direct importer of stone, granite, and quartz and other natural stone. Artistic.
Where did he come from, Tom? They always say he came. Is he from Italy?
No, Mitch comes from. Oh, I say it in my spot.
No, you don't. You always say they came to
Romania.
Okay. No, in the spot, just say he came to the United States with $300 in his pocket, but you don't say where he came from.
386-5919. TheArtOfGranite.com.
Hi, I'm Brooke Burke. Do you ever consider just how important your feet are? They're quite literally the foundation.
Yeah, I bet you what she learned.
Take care of them. You're asking for problems. That's why I wear Skechers new Arch Fit shoes.
Yeah, right.
And that might be the biggest thing out there.
And you know, these people that call up with opinions that have no basis, like that woman who called and said, I mean, first of all, Gail said that she has to keep them on, you know, in harness a certain amount of time. She's the one that went through all this training with the dog. Who is this woman to call up and say that she's wrong? People just want to give opinions on stuff they have no basis for.
Just a feeling.
Yeah.
And actually, dogs like to work. They like to be busy.
10 years or so, one that crashes. This means if you live for 30 years in retirement, you may
dogs aren't like people.
Hey Tom, so you had a standard poodle?
Yes, I've had. When I was married, I had my first one, Bentley, and he died
Mark
early.
is on access one, so
prematurely, and then
you want low fees for managing your all-seasons
like prematurely, and then we had two, a pair, beautiful. One was like a cappuccino color, and the other one was black. I love them. Oh, is this yours?
No, it's my girlfriend's. It's a standard poodle.
So beautiful.
They are pretty dogs.
That looks just like our Gracie.
The dog or her, which is beautiful.
Oh, she's pretty. That dog looks just like her.
Full standard poodle.
They're so beautiful. Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. 303-713-TALK. 303-713-8255. Okay, so I can't go this day without telling you about One Clear Choice garage doors, because on days like this, man, when a garage door goes, you need service, and they're busy because, of course, they service their customers and they service anyone who calls them if you need help, and that's One Clear Choice Doors. It's important to talk about it, okay? OneClearChoiceDoors.com. They do doors, they do broken springs, they do openers, they do the entire system. Now, here's the deal. Okay, we were talking about snow, and I will say I thought they were exaggerating. We weren't going to get snow. So what I said was, we're not going to get much snow. Mark said, I'll bet you. And then we said, well, let's, get some terms. And he said, all right, I say we're going to have this much. We say that much. Then we arrived at 10 inches and said, how about this? Ultimately ended up Castle Rock, official snow accumulation for Castle Rock, which ends at noon today. So in other words, we don't just keep going and going. So yesterday we said whatever the official snow accumulation is for Castle Rock, as of noon, we will judge. And if you have under 10 inches, Deputy Doc, Ken and I win. And if it's over 10 inches, Mark wins. But we had to pick a source, too, because everyone has, not everyone, but they have different accumulations. And we're trying to find it because we wanted to do it. You know how Channel 9 has that map and they stand there and say, Evergreen got this and Aurora got this and Golden got this and, and Castle Rock got this. And are we finding it? We're not finding it yet, are we? Now, people might say, oh, it's obviously more than 10 inches. It could be. But, Mark, what do you think?
Just bring me in.
I know you're in. You think I know you automatically think you won, but we didn't get the official figures yet.
First of all, it's Wednesday tomorrow.
See, that's what I thought. But Ken said it was today. I thought it was today.
Ken is old and retired. He's wrong.
Okay. Are you positive? I'd rather have it today.
I'm sure you would. I already won, though. It's over 12 inches.
In Castle Rock?
Yeah, it's over 12 inches.
Are you sure of that?
Yeah, I can't find it on 9 News, but everywhere else says
see, 9 News was the official for us.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll find that.
Mark,
It's still
do you take Bitcoin?
Yeah.
No. No Bitcoin.
Well, it was a $50.
None of that funny money.
It was $50 on Amazon specifically. So I'm going to you can transfer a gift card over. Did you know that?
Yeah,
$50.
That's what you're going to do.
But listen.
We should have done 500.
What are you going to buy? You sound so perfect on your remote equipment. I love it. I love it. So this is good. So you never have an excuse not to do the show. And
I was out plowing. Listen to this, man. I left at 9 o'clock. The driveway.
Yeah.
It took me, I do both my neighbors too. Actually, I did 3 neighbors today. I was plowing 3.5 hours today.
Hey,
I need a cookie or something.
How much snow, seriously, did you get out there?
We got probably at least 12 inches on the railing, on the deck, in the driveway.
Now, when I heard today, this morning, your voicemail, I knew. Here's his. That's when I knew. I always get a message from Mark about
that. Sounds like Ken when it came to the bed.
Yeah. So anyway, so hang in there if you want. And
I'm here.
I'm glad that it works. So Fred, what happened? Your apartment in Florida. Tell me what's going on, Fred.
Yes. Hi, Tom. How are you?
Good, man. What's going on?
Yeah, listen, I live in Colorado. I work in Miami and have an apartment. As a result, it's a shared kind of a co-op. But so this building's a three-floor, 46-unit. The water line, building side of the main broke. It's an old building, and
that's what you call the service line. So the service line broke.
Service line.
And how long have you had this apartment?
Well, I've been there about 11 years.
And you rent or you own? You actually own it?
Just rent.
Oh, for that long? Wow. Hold on one second, please. Just a sec, because we have an on-the-scene reporter. I want to see how it's doing. Jay, I-70 shut down. Where are you?
Tom, this is your on-the-scene reporter, Jay Brett, with the 2 boys here. And we're on I-70 westbound. The highway shut down at Beaverbrook Hill, which is Floyd Hill, exit 248. On the news announcements on the quarter hours, it's saying that I-70 westbound shut at Vail. It shut way before then. It shut about 12 miles west of Denver. If you're trying to get up in the mountains, it is not.
Were you trying to go to your place to go to do some snowmobiling or skiing?
I happen to have that snowmobile trailer hooked up to my truck right now. We're on our way to do that. And, I've got an automatic plow for my driveway. It's called Henry. We have a decent plow, and I would put him up against Mark. I think we should have a plow off.
I'd take him on any time,
What does he drive, Jay?
It's
a shovel.
Oh, he's shoveling. Oh, my God. What cruelty.
Shoveling. Are you kidding? You can't get kids to shovel. No, it's a Jeep with a plow.
Oh, okay.
When I was younger, I would shovel my entire neighborhood for everybody, and I would use a spoon, and everybody was so appreciative.
You walked uphill to school both ways.
Now,
I did.
Jay, seriously now, people driving westbound are told they can get all the way to Vail.
No. They did say there was an overturned tractor trailer at Beaverbrook Floyd Hill. I heard that on the radio.
But is that a temporary situation then just because of that tractor trailer?
They said it hasn't been cleared and it was closed down due to that.
Okay, Jay, maybe it'll reopen again soon.
It's a rock slide is what the DOT guy told me. So I don't know if it's a semi or that.
Where are you right now?
Westbound. I'm back in Evergreen right at this moment.
Okay, so you've come back. Are you going to try to
take
make
the Loveland Pass, Jay? Could you go Loveland?
You can't get. I was going to try to go up Clear Creek Canyon, which is Highway 6 up towards Blackhawk, but that's shut down also.
But man, you're pulling a trailer. I would be a little hesitant to do the normal path for pulling a trailer.
That's what my wife said.
Yeah.
Hey, Tom, I hate to even admit this, but I owe Jay Brett's a lunch.
For what?
They installed heat tape on my roof, and I called him up yesterday, and I was like, come on, man, this stuff is not working, and I sent him some pictures. So he sent a guy out yesterday to look at it, and I hate to say this.
Hold on, don't tell us yet. I want to hear it, because you and I were trying to figure out why would just one section of heat tape not work, just one section. So hold on, and we'll take this quick break. Plus, Fred, with your apartment in Florida, no water 2 months. And, Fred, you hang on. We'll come right to you.
Now, Impact Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Credit Karma.
A few of our icy spots are starting to melt away, but we've
I heard that first it was a tractor trailer overturned.
Am I done?
I heard then there was a rock slide.
I can just do my in-house.
Eastbound 6th Avenue off-ramp to Kipling is blocked by a crash.
That's Mark.
I tell you,
That's
they
Mark.
go up,
Tell Mark.
I always go to Black Hawk on Clear Creek.
Yeah.
When anytime 70's got a backup, people start coming on that. We freaking hate it.
26 today, low tonight at about 5 degrees.
And so many people don't know how to drive a canyon.
Oh, I know.
And Thanksgiving Thursday, partly sunny.
I've been stopped a couple of times on Route 6.
For tires?
No, they just pull you over, and you roll down the window. And I say, "What's up, officer?" And as soon as they don't smell alcohol, they'll just say, "Just drive carefully," and they show me your license. They just want to make sure you're not drunk.
I'm on.
Here's to trucks.
Look at this video. You'll be sold. FoamYourWalls.com. I don't have to do any work when you see this video of this state-of-the-art injection of foam. It's not a spray-on. It's not an epoxy. It is a spray foam that never gets hard. It stays pliable. It's the best insulation you can get. It's a retro insulation, means they can do your home after it's built, or your home that's old or new. It doesn't matter. It'll take the place of the old insulation, automatically pushing it back and filling every nook and cranny. It's environmentally friendly. There's no off-gassing. I love this stuff. I really, really do. And they can do it like in a day from outside your house. You don't disrupt your living space. FoamYourWalls.com is the one you want to see. 720-676-6333. Very affordable, and it's energy efficient up to 50% on energy bills. And guess what? It makes your home 80% quieter. FoamYourWalls.com.
70 million.
How much time? Do I have time to hit the head?
These are just some of the damages awards gotten by
Yeah, Why road were you stopped on 6?
Oh yeah, they stop.
I've never been stopped there.
Well, sometimes 3 o'clock in the morning.
What the hell are you doing at 3 o'clock?
Coming back from playing poker.
Oh, okay.
And like I say, they'll just go. It's happened 3 times. Just pull you over. And as soon as they don't smell.
Pull you over.
As soon as they don't smell alcohol, show me the license.
So they got lights on and everything and pull you over.
Yeah, they just say. Well, they don't do anything. They don't have to.
But don't you drink at your poker game?
I haven't had a drink. First of all, I don't drink poker, but I haven't had a drink since I had that liver cancer in '95. So the games I play in, people don't usually drink. I mean, there's enough money that.
A couple beers.
You take a couple of beers and I'll take even more money from you. I mean, really, alcohol interferes with your logic and reasoning.
Right.
So
we should play. Just get a little.
Why do you think they give free drinks at casinos?
Sure, absolutely.
So up in the mountains, some people will drink, and I love it. I mean, people that there are guys I play, because you sort of see the same people all the time. There are certain guys that will just drink, and you love playing with them because they're just giving away their money. They have no inhibitions.
Today's lowest they've been in over a year. And a lower rate can put hundreds back in your monthly budget and save you
must watch
thousands
like
in
oil
interest
changes.
over the
Of course,
life of your loan,
they only
sometimes
bring up
tens
the
of
exciting
thousands.
hand.
So
Right.
today the day
That's
you
the
Of course,
call
it's edited.
American
No, except
Finance.
it's, you know, it's edited.
Salary-based mortgage
But it's,
consultant
I mean, it's
can
not
provide you
fake.
free mortgage
Right, it's not
review.
fake, but what I'm saying
Find the
is,
best
Of course they bring up
for
the
you.
exciting hands.
No pressure,
I
no
mean, because
obligation,
really,
and no
most
upfront
broker,
fees ever.
it's kind of like,
You know what else?
I guess,
American
fighting in
Financing doesn't
a
start
war.
your loan
It's either
term over,
exciting,
so
you get a
choose
good
your
hand, or it's very
refinance
boring.
benefits and how long
You got to be willing to.
holding all the time.
You've got to be willing to. If you're a good player, you've got to be willing. I've done this. Sit there for 45 minutes and fold. And you got otherwise, you know. That's what you know. What separates a good player from bad players is how much you lose. Because anybody can win. But if you get shitty cards all night and you lose $200, where somebody else would have lost 2,000. That's where the discipline comes in.
So you know, that's why I say you can't win all the time.
No, nobody wins all the time.
But you can minimize losses. That's a good way.
That's how you, yeah.
Sprinter is built for you.
I can't. I almost killed myself with these fucking shoes because of how these things come untied. I really almost.
With IRS Section 179, you could be eligible for up to a $25,000
I hate that.
You should have seen the fall I took this morning, Tom. You should have seen the fall I took this morning.
Oh, did you?
Oh, I spent my
that's serious.
outside, right outside here. I'm going to sue.
Yeah, premises liability doesn't exist for the most part. You know that, right?
I couldn't see the curves. I slipped. I really. Ted had to help me up. It was so bad.
Really?
Yeah, he was right behind me. And he saw I couldn't
But
even
did
walk.
you know that premises liability is all but non-existent with all the laws now?
You could hear Dan Kaplan.
It really is.
Like I said, the ankle definitely better than me.
Yeah, for sure.
From iHeartRadio.
I've never had any knee.
On your smart
Well, you're
speaker.
lucky.
Ankles go. Maybe because I have weak ankles and the ankle goes first.
Maybe that's probably true.
Oh man, I don't know what it is about snowshoes that, or not snowshoes, you know, I mean, the sorrels and stuff don't stay tied. 303-713-TALK, 713-8255, renewhomeinnovations.com. It's hard to think about home improvements right now, right? But they specialize in the bath. So I love specialists, especially when they do awe-inspiring showers. You do just the shower even. Anyway, Renew Home Innovations, what I like about them is they have good, better, best, all great quality, and all Kohler products, renewhomeinnovations.com. So, listen, we got a guy in Florida. He wants to talk about no water. First of all, I can't believe that an apartment house would go for a 3-floor, 46 unit. I mean, Fred, are you telling me no water or no hot water? What are you actually saying?
Yeah, well, in reality, I never said no water.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's what my call screener.
I understand. Yeah, you probably got that. Just for
what does it say?
The water is so low. Water pressure is so low that you cannot take a shower. It dribbles out of the shower. You know, the water out of the sink is about a 1/4 inch wide stream. There's not even enough pressure to.
And you guys have been putting up with this for that long?
Well, yeah, 'cause it's a unique situation. There are 10 guys who co-op share this because we're there maybe 1 or 2 days a month.
Wait, is it just is it just your apartment or the whole thing?
It's the entire building because they can't turn the pressure main on because the temp fix will break. And I can't get the property managers to give me an idea. They said, well, the owners are going to decide if they're.
Does anyone understand what he's saying? He is basically saying that they can't fix it. So.
Well, they temporarily fixed it, but it can't take the pressure.
Well, when are they going to fix it?
That's I'm not getting it. See, I don't speak Spanish, and in Miami, that's kind of an important thing to get real answers.
Okay, so you're in the Miami area?
Yes.
Okay, listen, we want to call there and advise them of a few things. But, I mean, you can break your leash, you understand, but you don't want to. You've been there a long time.
Yeah, I understand that's the best thing to do is just do it, but it's a very convenient setup for us, and I just. What are the other tenants?
What are the other tenants saying?
The water stocks, yeah, we're other apartments. We're at the far end of the building, so I think we're getting the worst of it at the top floor.
Tell me this, is this considered a luxury apartment, a medium grade apartment, a low end apartment? What is it?
Well, considering the street that it's on used to be called Crack Alley, Okay,
I got it.
More. So,
now,
you
would you explain? I'm just curious. Explain this co-op thing. Can you explain that?
Yeah. Okay. We're airline employees.
Oh, okay.
And we live elsewhere, and it's a crash pad.
Okay, gotcha.
But the lease is in my name, and I gotta try to get stuff done and fixed for these.
Yeah, but you still want water, for goodness sakes. I mean, hold on. You know what? When we get results, when we call and say, listen, we're gonna send authorities your way. We're gonna see what we can do legally, whatever. We'll just scare them, and sometimes that alone helps. But is it physically impossible to fix right now, and that stuff is not available, parts or whatever? I mean, what is the excuse they're giving?
It's the entire pipe's going to have to be replaced. I don't think they want to spend the money on it.
Well, that's too bad.
I know. I agree. I mean, and their maintenance guy is the guy who did the temp fix, and I'm sure that he used rubber.
Deputy Doc, we got to get on it. Okay, so hold on, Fred, because Deputy Doc is going to come in and he's going to talk to you off the air just to get the basics. 303-713-TALK, 303-713-8255. And Mark is with us remotely from Franktown area, and he said they have about a foot of snow right now. Didn't you say about 11 to 12? And
13, 14.
13 or 14. Oh, okay. And is it still snowing there?
Yeah, actually, I'm looking out the window. It is still snowing.
Okay,
Not
now,
a lot, but snowing.
And Jay, are you still there, sir?
I'm coming to you live from the Walmart parking lot in Evergreen, and it is lightly snowing right now.
About what accumulation are you seeing?
We should get him a job in the newsroom.
Yeah.
Can you pass that application on to me?
I will.
Back to the update. It's probably, I'm saying 12 to 14 inches of snow here. I had about 18 inches of snow at my house in Morrison, and I'll send that picture to Mark so he can win the bet.
No, that has nothing to do
with
Morrison.
Wait till you hear what Jay's guys didn't do.
Okay. Oh, that's right. We got to talk about that T-Wire and why that happened coming up. I'm Tom Martino. Stick around for the Troubleshooter Show on 630 KHOW and around the country, of course, on iHeart. You like all these calls we're getting from around the country?
I recommend for true living stem cell therapy. If you are looking for a stem cell clinic, go to Dr.
I think Mark
Chris
likes
Centeno
that plowing.
and his team.
Likes running his tractor
stem cell
What's
treatment
that?
in a
I think he really likes
setting in the
plowing
entire country.
snow. I think that's
Find out more
I think a lot of
at their
people do
website,
that.
avoidsurgerytoday.com. Don't
Mark,
expect
you got
basic
it.
chiropractic
Everything I did
clinics
years
or
ago.
medical
The house in
clinics where
Franktown, the
amniotic
barn,
fluid or umbilical
he just
cord
doesn't have
is
horses.
used is not
He
living
has
stem
the big
cells.
RV
You will
garage. I
not
had an indoor
get
arena and RV
living
garage.
stem
I had a
cells
giant RV.
unless they are extracted
I had,
at the
and then
time
he did
of the treatment. I can't emphasize that enough.
did the
People
tractor,
are
I did
wasting
the
money
tractor.
all over
It's
the metro area
amazing
on
how similar.
lying, cheating ripoffs. If you're looking for true living stem cell therapy,
No, but I know having a tractor, if you've got a good tractor and you're warm, it's kind of fun doing snow blowing.
Oh man, I would
have
a cabin, surgerytoday.com.
Whatever I wanted.
963
I love my John Deere, man.
Avoidsurgerytoday.com.
Does Mark have a John Deere?
Yes.
Yeah, he has a great tractor, I think.
This is Denver's
And I have
station.
an ice cream
Tom Martino
maker.
Now, Joe Pags tonight at 6:30 KHOW, Denver.
ABC News, I'm David Wright. President Trump announced the start of an interagency task force aimed at helping Native American communities solve cases of murdered or missing people. We will leverage every resource.
That's a tough deal, because on reservations, you probably didn't hear that.
We're taking this very seriously.
What's that?
He's doing an interactive thing to help murders on Indians, Native Americans, and on reservations, they have no jurisdiction.
So what is Trump doing?
He wants to help them out. Apparently, they must have a lot of unsolved murder cases.
You know what? It's ridiculous. They're not subjected to our laws.
Not on reservations.
Can somebody murder somebody then?
Oh, no. And they have. I imagine they can call in. But no, they have.
Those reservations are, like say taxes and stuff. That's a lot of those, they can sell cigarettes without taxes. They can do gambling.
Bears, the Gulf Coast sharks, and Florida is alligator country. In Texas, the list of man-eating animals is a new entry.
Feral hawks are not native to Texas, but they've practically overrun parts of the state, destroying farmland and front yards.
Feral hog assault.
Oh, yeah, a lady got killed by feral hogs in Texas. Tell you, hogs, they're some dangerous animals, boy. They are tough.
Texas has now joined the list of states dropping out of a lawsuit to block the merger between Sprint and T-Mobile. Texas officials say they've struck their own deal with T-Mobile. A group of states' attorneys general goes to trial next month to stop the merger. Here's Red ABC News.
At CDW, we get modern service need to be flexible.
Gingerly stuff.
Yeah.
Those are snow boots. They have no ankle support.
These are the original Uggs. Remember Uggs?
Yeah. They have no ankle support.
No. Well, I don't think it would have mattered because it was such a bad. Hey, Tom, so my question is, he wanted to know also, I'll call the property manager.
I don't know if they have any standards of how to really cover it. But
Yeah. What municipal agencies would be responsible that he could call?
I'm even thinking the health department. I'm thinking, but it's, let's see.
It's in Miami, so is there a housing agency or?
We just have to research.
I mean, I can look that up when I get home.
I don't know, man.
Okay,
I don't know.
I'll look it up when I get home.
I think health department always with water and all that, but is it a safety issue? I don't know. I mean, it's
This holiday, you get a telephone.
All right, well, I'll look up to see if there's a housing
building
agency.
and zoning around here would do stuff like that, but there must be. That's big enough. I think they might have.
Authority. Yeah. But let's see what that's a government. You're looking for a government agency. Let's just look at it.
It took me an hour and 40 minutes to get here. Normally it's only an hour drive.
About us.
That was coming down from the foothills this morning, but it's pretty much the same story up and down the Front Range. With the major storm hitting, as a lot of people try to get out of town for the Thanksgiving holiday. Some drivers have
for number
lines back, and a lot
here,
of people who would
housing
normally be on the
for
highway
305.
Wait.
That's much to the relief of CDOT.
Housing
when there's not a lot of
authority 305
534
that's helping us
534
0338.
Because there's so many businesses and government offices and schools that
I'm gonna call the property manager first, see if they get the owners in all.
all today.
See if he wants to contact the housing authority. And also he said that the repair wasn't up to code. That the guy just basically jury rigged it.
Well, what were they? Holy cow! Why would they do that?
Well, because he said it was a maintenance guy that just fixed it so they had some water. But apparently the fix is not able to handle normal water pressure.
I wonder what the pressure is.
Sponsored by the Ad Council.
I don't know.
An accident on southbound I-25.
Is there a PSI or something that you measure water pressure?
Oh, you can put on your faucet.
Also a wreck
Yeah.
blocking the
And get that stuff. And normal water pressure, 55, 60 pounds, 55 to 65 pounds, something like that.
That's on the left side of the ramp. And south of the metro area, crews working a crash on southbound I-25.
But a lot of places they have it higher because
Your forecast for today,
that's at
some light snow
you
showers
might be
continuing
close to
this
the
afternoon. We'll drop down
Right,
to about
right.
10
Yeah.
overnight
to the
tonight.
water
Partly
tower.
cloudy
And
tomorrow for your
past that.
Wednesday with
Right.
a high in the mid to
Lower
upper
still.
20s. It's 24 right now in Denver. With your impact traffic and weather, I'm Janine LaRose, 630 KHOW. Okay, Dad. It's time
It'd be a good night for playing poker.
Yeah, except no one can get there.
Or
That's
something more
that
contemporary.
we canceled the game last night, which
That's
is unusual.
Right. Dance like a dad. with
We have
your
one guy that
kids.
lives in Tiny
Learn
Town,
more at fatherhood.
and he literally lives on top of the mountain. His driveway is literally 3/4 of a mile with 7 or 8 hairpins. So he's stuck up. I don't know why he lives there.
I'm sure he's subject to a lot of wind too.
Yeah.
Good view, probably.
The view in the summertime is spectacular.
Is that up by the Jetson House? Remember?
No. This is Tiny Town. It's
I've never been to Tiny Town.
if you go straight on 285,
Okay.
it's by Turkey
There's
Creek
not a
Canyon.
lot to see at Tiny Town.
No. It's just, I think that there may be a Safeway at the junction of Turkey Creek, and but that's it. It's still in the boonies. But there is a real tiny town. There's a miniature town
That's I heard
with a
it's not
railroad.
very- Yeah, I heard it's not very
No,
exciting.
it's not very exciting.
So when you guys do it, everybody does different poker at their place, right?
No, this one guy has the host of most of the games.
Provide food too, or you guys
We
use
chip in for food,
You chip in for food.
and he deals and cooks the food.
He deals?
Yeah. Well, he doesn't play.
Oh,
He's just a dealer.
Why does he get some money?
Yeah.
Okay.
He gets a little bit of money, and then the winners tip him.
Gotcha.
So he does pretty well.
This is the damnedest thing. When I go to delete, I have my messages, text message. When I go to delete one, it automatically deletes deletes two. It's weird.
This is the Troubleshooter Show.
If you remember, leave at 1:30. You might want to announce that.
Tom Martino, the Troubleshooter.
Hi, Tom Martino here. Welcome to the show, the only show of its kind anywhere in the universe, where we are talking about everyday life, the things that make you tick, the things that tick you off. There are so many things going on. I'm going to recap what we've been talking about on the show, including, of course, realcbdthatworks.com, pharmaceutical grade dosing, and the finest, purest extracting methods right here in Golden, Colorado, but are available around the country. realcbdthatworks.com. What's on your mind today? You can call us whatever you want. You call us, and we will solve your problems, answer your questions, take your complaints, and make your life a little easier at 303-713-TALK, 303-713-8255. So, Mark couldn't come in today because of the weather. Of course, they are really getting a lot of snow out there, and because of that, of course, we get the usual voicemail from him.
Oh man.
And of course, I won't belabor that. I'm just going to say this. We were talking about heat tape, okay? Now, there's intelligent wire now that they call it intelligent wire because of the way it works. You plug in one end, and then this wire goes out to a certain length, and it's remarkable. When a section of that wire gets cold, or it creates more resistance. And when you have more resistance in that area of the wire, you have heat. And that causes the heat wire to work in that area. You can literally have a couple spaces of heat. It knows enough to apply heat where it's cold. So we looked at he had a photograph of the front of his house, and one section over the door was not melting the snow, and we didn't know what was going on. This is heat tape. First of all, Jay, in general, will you describe what you do, how you apply this heat tape when you do a roof or a gutter? Jay, are you there? I thought, oh, here he is. It's me. I'm thinking, go, Jay. How do you apply it?
We zigzag it on the roof, and we usually go up 2 feet. Then we have to string it inside of the gutter all the way down the downspout, and you need to get it all the way out to wherever that downspout exits.
And what does this prevent? Ice damming?
Yes. Sometimes on the north side of a house, it'll just be a pure block of ice, and the snow or the water will not go down the gutters and downspouts at all. So this heat cable will melt it, and what it does is it allows all the water to drain off, so you don't end up with a big ice skating rink outside of your sliding glass door.
Well, does everyone need one?
It depends on your house, and what causes it is north exposures will cause it, but also it depends upon, we get ice dams on top of roofs during real severe weather. Up in the mountains we see them a lot, and that's caused by poor ventilation and also by lack of insulation.
Well,
so it
okay.
can be a combination of things.
If something is installed properly when it comes to gutters, roofing, insulation, venting, ventilation, do you still need heat tape, or can you do away with the need for heat tape at all, or will there be some cases where you need it?
Down in the Denver metro area, you probably will never need it. If you're up in the mountains, and especially if you have a complex roof design where you have lots of valleys and different things intersecting and causing a lot of water to be concentrated in one spot, that's what will cause these ice dams.
Okay, so with this case, Mark, tell us about it. Tell us what you discovered. We were wondering why this one section was getting cold. Go ahead. It was not, the heat tape was not working.
Yeah, you'll never believe what Jay's guys completely forgot to do. You ready?
What?
They didn't plug it in. They did not plug it in.
That was the only problem.
Yep.
Oh, my goodness.
Now, Jay's going to think that's more of an issue on my side, but I disagree. If I went somewhere to install, let's say, a TV, I would definitely plug in the TV.
Tom, you got to know, Tom, we installed this last year, and last year it was working just fine. But then throughout the summer season, maybe somebody might have unplugged that wire around the side of his house.
Yeah.
Now, why would your guys come around and unplug my wire? I don't understand why they do
So
that.
listen, this is a really good lesson. You always go to the most simple first. How did you find it, Mark? Is it plugged in outside or something?
It's plugged up in the eaves. Now, here's the tricky part. There's actually 2 wires they ran. On the other side of my house, there's only 1 wire, 1 outlet, 1 plug-in. On this side, I plugged one in all honesty, when we got our first snow. I didn't realize, because of the long run down the downspouts, I actually had 2 things to plug in.
Oh, so you didn't plug it in. Okay, I get it. Okay. But listen, Jay, how much power does that line take when it's all heated?
Tom, do you think I should get a lunch out of this deal?
Jay,
my guys go out there.
I'll tell you what. I'll take 5 of the lunches Tom owes me, and I'll transfer them to you, Jay.
Jay, how much of this wire? You notice I'm ignoring this, and I'm taking a loftier path here. How much power does this consume? This wire?
There's 2 types. The Home Depot ones do not consume as many amps. The more heavy-duty ones do take more amps to run. I'm not an electrician, so I'm not positive the exact power requirements necessary. But generally, you want to run one of these heat cables per circuit.
Per 15-amp circuit, you mean?
Oh, definitely.
Yes.
I tried plugging in. I actually, Tom, had to rerun. I had an electrician out and redid a completely new outlet to my box, because when both of them were hooked up, the 20-amp ones, it was flipping the breaker all the time.
Okay, so about a 15-amp circuit or whatever, you ask your electrician. We don't want to be responsible. You may have an extra long one. Okay, so hang on, guys. I want to talk about this problem with Danny's grandma. Danny's grandmother was scammed, he said. Now, Danny, what's going on? This sounds pretty serious.
Yeah, so Social Security scam, telemarketing.
Oh, no, she fell for it?
She fell for it.
How old is your grandma?
How old is she? How old is she?
90.
What happened?
Oh, it's all pretty recent. I'm still.
How much is gone? How much is gone?
A lot. About 10K.
Okay, hold on. Danny, how did you discover this? Because there's a lot of stuff you need to do. They're going to come back for more. How did you discover this?
Well, it took a while. I'm out of the state.
Okay.
My mom took a while before because they're embarrassed about the whole thing.
So, I mean, who discovered it, Danny? I mean, if she has a checking account, was it from there, her bank account, her credit card? How was the money paid?
Savings.
How? Though, how was payment made? Do you know?
Social Security said send them a blank check signed so they could do whatever they want.
Okay. Now, Danny, this is why they do it. We often ask, why do people do this? Does anyone fall for those Social Security scams? Apparently they do. So I still need to know how it was discovered.
Once, the money was out of the account and, local police were called and stuff, but
okay.
So I haven't even gotten a detective assigned yet.
Okay, you're not going to get anything from local police on this. Here's what we have, okay? We have a serious situation, though. Once they got that check with your account number and the routing number with her numbers, they're going to go back for more. You have to close the account.
Yeah, so that step has been taken amongst, other things to protect anything further.
Okay, no, but I'm serious. People say, oh, yeah, we know. I'm serious. You have to close the account, but then there's something else that no one does because they don't believe me sometimes, or they don't know, or they think I'm exaggerating. You have to change banks. Okay? And if
good idea.
If she opens an account with another bank, it will not protect, if she opens an account with the same bank, another account with the same bank, it can be attacked just like the first one. Bankers don't even know this. They'll say, oh, no, that can't happen. It can happen, okay? I'm going to tell you some stuff that'll shock you on closing bank accounts and stuff. But what are you calling about now? What can we help you with immediately?
Well, that's a good first step. I mean, I'm trying to call every fraud hotline I can.
All right, good. You want to let people
we know
know.
Where we know where the money went to and is deposited, and there's a hold on a certain amount.
Wait, you know where the money went to?
Yep.
Holy cow. Hold on. We got to come back to this one. People, if you've ever wondered, do people really get taken by these IRS phone scams? Yeah, they do.
Bill O'Reilly here. Don't miss my exclusive one-on-one interview with President Trump.
We'll cover the critical issues facing the White House and the country, including the
I wonder if she physically sent a check.
Well, that's what it sounds like.
If you want some insight into the most unlikely political phenomenon of our lifetime, you'll get it right here.
Hear Bill O'Reilly sit down with President Trump this Wednesday morning at 5 on 630 KHOW, Denver's talk station.
Have you noticed, Tom, you've been doing this for a long time.
Boy, if you find out...
I don't have a spot there.
Have you noticed, you've been doing this a long time, that a lot of these people who have been taken advantage of or scammed have this sort of very meek personality that they sort of accept the fact that they've been taken advantage of. And you can see why, because they're not forceful enough to deal with it in the first place.
Well, see, a lot of the older people are very trusting.
No, but even like this kid sounds like he's a victim. He sounds like a victim. You know,
a little bit, you're right.
And it's unfortunate that a lot of the women I see...
We have to get out of here at 1:30.
You're right, John, you might want to announce that too, that on here that you're out of here at 1:30.
A lot of these women that have these little girly voices have been abused as children. And that's
girly voice.
Really. You know what I'm talking about. And those are the ones that have been abused when they were kids.
Should I take this cup downstairs with me? Are we short?
Hi, this is Carlin Tucker. During the 20 to 30 years you may spend in retirement, you will experience many things. Rising stock markets, falling markets, and about every 10 years or so, one that crashes.
And I try and tell
people... Oh, wait, I wonder if we just going to be shut down. We can be in here.
Sorry, Mark and you were talking at the same time.
Are we short on coffee cups?
No, we thought there were some more purchased. Yeah, we've got some.
Do you know what? I can't make that goddamn basket.
Managing your all seasons portfolio. Maybe no vote for you, so whatever tomorrow brings,
I got some stuff I needed to update on my computer.
I got to update something on the furnace that we all missed.
On the furnace?
Yeah, on the furnace in Florida. I mean in Cincinnati.
What?
Do you have the woman's number in Cincinnati with the furnace? The furnace woman, Cincinnati. The woman that called in from out of state. And we had George Donaldson on about checking. Do you have her number by any chance?
I had one. You probably have found it. This is much easier. Everybody should carry that. Yeah. Well, not on a plane.
What?
Not on a plane.
Oh, right. I know that.
But everybody should carry. It's amazing how much usage you'll see.
For what?
For having a knife. If you carry a knife.
I know. I heard that. Somebody else told me that.
They can even help transfer your old files to your new computer. Because in action, you don't have to be tech
smart. Like on the farm, Dad always had a flyer.
On the farm.
Call me back.
Yeah.
Always.
Right. That I can understand. Your dad probably could have used one of those multi-tools, like the...
Yeah, but the pliers is just like so, you use it for so many things, lions, wrench or whatever, and they have pliers pocket.
Right.
Every pansy had a pliers pocket.
Like maybe you're a hoarder or
my friend who just passed away was in his 90s. His dad was a country doc. Around the turn of the century. There was this guy whose patients kept getting infected. I said, well, he's probably going to use these sterile techniques. Would you go out and check it? So I watched the guy who was doing everything. He would sterilize the needles, blah, blah, blah. Then he would take the injection and put it through the genes of the put manure and dirt. Oh,
wow. Right through the clothes?
Right through the clothes.
Listen, I know some diabetics.
But this is at the turn of the century. This is at the turn of the century.
I have diabetic friends that are so in a hurry sometimes they go right through their clothes. Wow. Stupid.
No, diabetic needles, they're so thin, right?
They're tiny little bee bites.
They're like 28
But Clint said his, when he was doing the injection for testosterone, that's a thick. Because
yeah, but there's ways to do it where you don't need that thick. Yeah.
Okay.
You can you can draw it in a thick needle, then change the head for injection into you and do it slower.
Well, you know, it's the thickness of the needle. Not people see this long needle. I'd rather have a long 28 gauge needle than a 15 gauge that's like that.
Hey, now when we were kids, those needles were thicker than they are now.
Probably.
Dan, my car is so good in snow, I can't believe how balanced and perfect it is.
What kind of car is it?
It's a Mercedes G-Wagon.
You've got great tires on it too.
Motherfucker, man. I'm telling people were like pulled over and I'm like, good.
Let me tell you, having new tires, I just put new tires,
makes a big difference.
Holy cow.
Honest to God, it's almost like you just can't believe how
good it is. You just feel like
that's when it shines.
But there's so many people out there that shouldn't even have their cars out there. I know. I mean, railroad drive, they shouldn't be on the road.
I tell you, my Subaru looks great.
Oh, you're not the whole drive.
I love my Outback. They are.
You have an Outback?
Yeah.
So that's a wagon,
right?
Is it green?
Yeah. No, it's not green. It's gray.
Oh, is it?
It's gray.
Is it turbo?
No.
What year is it?
It's a 2016.
Oh, they're under that. Did you have like oil, big oil consumption?
No, it's hard to use any oil.
Okay, this certain mounts,
right.
14s or whatever.
Yeah. No, I didn't get a recall on it.
Meteorologist Brooks Garner, Fox 31, 2.1.
I love it. You know, for what I use it for.
Our grief is unique.
It's great.
But you are
picking up chicks.
Well, you know what? I don't need a Porsche to have dates.
Am I going to have any time?
877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
Denver's talk station.
You know what? One of my patients, when I got divorced, she said to me, Dr. Manfrey.
I'm Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. Listen, I want to talk about some important stuff. First of all, on the furnace, I got to follow this up, all right? We told the woman in Cincinnati, you know, to go out and see if her exchanger is bad or not through a third party because under the Trane warranty, she'd get a new furnace. She absolutely would not. If you're still listening, you don't waste your time. You'll get such a little, it's a prorated warranty. Over 20 years, it's prorated. You're going to get almost nothing. It's not worth the trouble. So get your furnace replaced with a company you know and trust. Don't worry about Trane saying the heat exchanger is bad or good or disagreeing with your technician because ultimately, even if you prove it's a bad heat exchanger, the warranty is not, it's not going to save you much money. Now, on the other issues, people are under the false impression that when they close down a bank account, they are protecting themselves against further fraud. If your account was hacked, if you gave your number to somebody, if you did what Danny's grandmother did, and then you close the account and you open up another account with the same bank, you can be stung again. Here's how. If they try to hit the old bank account, the bank will automatically seek to make that good, that check or whatever financial instrument was used to withdraw through your other new bank account. It's called a cross-collateralization agreement. Everyone signs these when you have an account. So if you have multiple accounts with a bank and they have a dispute with you over something, they're going to go into your other account to take the money. It's really important. Even with different LLCs, they try to do that. Think about that. I'm not listening to you, but if you want to talk to me, Grant, I'll turn on my... I thought you were talking to me. Okay. So it's really important that you know that when you close the account, you're not protected. You must then, if you want an account, reopen a different account at a different bank. I'm not talking about a different branch. So you go from one first bank to another first bank. No, you have to go to a completely different banking system because that cross-collateralization agreement will sting you. And you know something? If a banker tells you it's not accurate, they're wrong. I'm tired of people who hear my advice being told I'm wrong. Very seldom am I wrong on stuff like this. Protect yourself. Do not open an account in the same bank. Now, here's the other thing. When you have a credit card that's hacked, you think you're protected when you get a new credit card. You are absolutely not protected from being hit again from the same people. I'll give you an example. Company ABC, they say you owe us money, and they go in and take money from your credit card account. You dispute the charge. The company, whether it's Capital One or whether it's Chase or whether it's Barclays, they send you another card with a new number. And they tell you they're doing it to protect you because that disputed charge was taken off. Guess what? That ABC company comes back to you 3 months later or a month later with the same charge, and they put it on your new account. Now you're saying, whoa. I closed the account. No, you didn't. You kept the account open and you changed the card. Now, let me tell you a little bit about the agreement you signed with your credit card company. No one else is going to tell you this. When you sign that agreement with your credit card company, you're agreeing to pay all obligations from the old card on the new card. And those obligations are any recurring transactions. So, if, for example, a company, a lying scumbag company, claims you have an agreement with them to pay a monthly or quarterly or semi-annually or annually, you have a recurring transaction. That they don't even have to show the contract. They simply have to claim you have a recurring transaction. And your bank, your credit card company, will put that charge on the old card through to the new card automatically, even if you disputed the first charge. This is absolutely, positively the truth. The only way to get out of a recurring transaction that you did not authorize and do not want is to close the account. It doesn't mean closing the card and getting a new card. Now, what that does protect you from when you close a card and get a new card with the same account is new fraudulent charges. If somebody has your credit card number and they try to use it again to go out to eat, it'll stop that transaction. It'll stop spur-of-the-moment single transactions. It will not stop recurring transactions, okay? So if you get a new card, same account, they will not stop recurring transactions. So how do you stop recurring transactions? First of all, you dispute it. Your credit card company will make some asinine comment like, do you want us to send you a new card, which does nothing for you. You tell them, no, I don't want a new card. I want to close the account. And unfortunately, you have to open a brand new account. Sometimes that means a full application and credit process, but you got to do it. I'm Tom Martino. This has been fun. We have an early out today because of some stuff going on. I'm Tom Martino, and I'll be back here tomorrow. And remember, save all your problems for me.